be successful for those people as well.
Congratulations, Emma.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have recognized scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
On average, people spend over a third of their life sleeping, yet most sleep disorders go undiagnosed.
I'm Megan Gigling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sleep struggles left untreated can lead to health problems and have a serious effect on your quality of life. We've served the Triangle for 20 years. Let us help you get the sleep you've been dreaming of.
If you're in need of a sleep study, a knowledgeable doctor, CPAP machine, or supplies, Parkway has you covered. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Partly cloudy skies for us this afternoon. If you can find a shady spot, actually feels fairly comfortable. Our humidity is on the lower side this afternoon, but it's hot with a high of 90. 68 tonight and mainly clear. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high again around 90 degrees. Still looking at a very hot weekend. The hottest temperatures so far this season with heat indices in the triple digits.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 56 points to 38,834. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities. Get ready to unleash your potential this season. Your Wake Forest Pure Hockey Store has inventory of the top gear arriving from now through year end. Pure Hockey, your ultimate hockey headquarters.
Love guarded by Keels, gets a screen, pulls up for three. Got it! Caleb from straight away! Jones with one. Jones puts it up at the buzzer. Yes! He ties the game!
Joining with a long rebound, kicks ahead to Smith. 3-ball, right side.
Bang!
Shotgun snap. Bryce Young, pressure off the backside. Throw to the end zone. Chark pulls it in with his fingertips.
And another chance, and the save's made by Anderson. And the fans will tell you, did you have a good night?
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Wednesday. We have Dennis Cox back with the show.
I don't know what I'm doing right now.
First time since last Wednesday.
I know,
it's been a week.
I'm trying to remember, how do I do this thing over here? What buttons do I push?
You'll figure it out. I have confidence in you.
Of course.
It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
And you've done it before. You know what was done for the first time today?
What's that?
Eric Tulsky spoke as the permanent GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. He had his introductory press conference today, and first of all, congratulations to Eric Tulsky.
Seriously.
I'm sure, right? It's one thing to be the assistant GM when you can always just go ahead and talk to Don. Like, he had to be the guy, and congratulations, he was, right? He's the GM. I think a lot of what today was about for the Carolina Hurricanes was simply making it seem like Eric Tulsky was the guy. They put him up at the press conference. They didn't have anyone sitting next to him. Rod was there.
Yeah, he was standing in the back.
A whole bunch of, actually, maybe a sign of support for Tulsky. There was a bunch of the staff there.
Yes.
But none of them sat up there with him. Right? The last time we saw Don Waddell for their exit press conference, it was Don Waddell and Rod Brindamore next to each other. There was none of that. It was Eric Tulsky sitting up there by himself, cutting a figure as the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. His opening statement started with, it's going to be a complicated offseason. He used those words, complicated offseason. Partially, I think that's again him cutting the figure as the GM saying, yeah, I know what I have to do, and I'm not afraid of the tough situations. Complicated offseason. We all know that. Need creative solutions moving forward. That was one of his refrains, one of his talking points. He's going to be creative on solutions.
It's like Dan Morgan in alignment.
That's what he was going to do. Eric Tulsky, here's a clip from that opening press conference on not being able to keep everyone.
We are in the process of talking to agents and working through deals and trying to figure out how things will work. We have a lot of truly outstanding players and people, and we probably aren't going to be able to keep all of them, and that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt us on the ice, and it's going to hurt us in the locker room. At the same time, it does open up opportunity for some of the players we have to step into bigger roles on the ice and in the locker room. And I think we have players who are capable of that. I also think we've shown that we can be creative in finding solutions to keep the team moving forwards, and that'll be part of our job as a management group to find ways to work around the challenges we have.
That's what a GM does. I have big problems. Every roster does. I have big problems. Got guys that are too expensive and not enough cap space. I'm going to find creative solutions to get it done.
I could fix it.
Exactly. That's what this was about, right? Even if there weren't problems, the entire press conference was about Eric Tulsky letting us know, I got it. The other thing it was about was, and maybe we'll wear our at least I will. Dennis hasn't been with us for a week. I'll wear my portion of this. There's a definite public image of Eric Tulsky as the mad scientist, as the numbers guy, as the human calculator, as the advanced degree PhD from Berkeley, right? As I spent time working for something called QuantumScape. I don't know what that is, but it definitely sounds like they would look at my resume and go, not smart enough. QuantumScape. He has patents. He has patents. Not patience. I'm not saying he's a patient guy. I'm saying he has patents. Like the things they always want to buy from you on Shark Tank. His analytics background was asked about. Is analytics going to take a larger role? Is analytics going to be a bigger part? Is this a sign that the team or the league is moving further towards analytics? In part, this is what he had to respond with.
No, honestly, I don't think this represents a huge shift for our organization. We didn't hire ChatGPT to be the GM. There are things that an NHL career brings, certain experiences that people who played in the league have that are an advantage to them. There are experiences outside of playing in the league that can be an advantage too. There are 10 other general managers in the league who never played in the NHL, and 4 others who don't even have an elite prospects page. So it's not like a hockey career is a prerequisite for doing this job. It's ultimately an executive leadership position.
That's a very interesting answer to me. And that's an answer that he came prepared with, right? You don't know those numbers. 10 never played in the league. 4 more don't have an elite prospects page. But you don't come with that unless you knew that answer was, or that question was coming, and you wanted to have a good answer for it. I will say the ChatGPT line, which people seem to be having a good time with, right? We didn't hire ChatGPT to be the GM. It's clever.
That was good.
But it's also kind of like saying, you know, wanting to say we didn't hire a Star Wars fan to be the GM by saying, like, we didn't go to Tatooine to find the new GM. And it's like, just the fact that you didn't know Tatooine makes me think you might be a Star Wars fan.
Like, hey, look, you hired a human being, not a robot.
Who referenced like a robot that maybe only robot fans know of. You know what I mean? It's like he tried to dispel it while also letting his true colors shine a little bit. The other thing is, I do think, right then, and this is something that I've said time and time and time again, Dennis, you've been, I think, on the same page with me. They need a hockey guy. They need a hockey guy, right? This is their analytics. This is that side of the building. I still think they should bring in a hockey guy. This might have been them saying, we don't need a hockey guy. I'm not just numbers. I'm not just computers. I'm not just algorithms and equations. This entire performance, ceremony, press conference, whatever you want to call it, was about filling the casting role, right? Selling Eric Tulsky as the GM rather than Eric Tulsky as this, quiet guy in the corner that Rod Brindamore would look at like Jonah Hill in Moneyball and say, like, how many on-base percentage points do we need? Right? He's not Rain Man. He's not left winger. Like, he's not that. Now it becomes proving it, right? Because there's one, like, he did a good job. This is how I'm going to equate it. Today was a really good getting off the bus for Eric Tulsky. I think he answered the questions that he needed to answer. I think he did so confidently. I think he showed a little bit of his personality. I think he showed, I'm a GM. I'm not just someone's assistant. I'm not just someone's interim. It's good walking off the bus. Have you heard of a team that's good at walking off the bus?
Yeah.
My high school basketball team was unreal at walking off the bus. I'm just a hair under 6'4". I was the shortest guy in our starting lineup. In high school, we went like 6'10", 6'9", 6'4", 6'4", 6'4". Getting off the bus, whoo boy, did we look good.
Mm-hmm.
We were a horrendous basketball team. Those big guys could. I mean, when I tell you we were one of the worst basketball teams in the area, it like the teams that we played, if they didn't know us, oh my gosh, look at this team. We'd start warming up. They'd go, oh, never mind.
Oh yeah, they can't shoot.
I was okay. Never mind, guys. Never mind. We're going to be fine. So, and by the way, there are also some teams that are good at walking off the bus and also very good at playing the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of high school basketball teams that they went 6'10", 6'9", 6'4", 6'4", 6'4", would just run you off the court. Eric Tulsky has walked off the bus well, right? You look the part. You act the part. You have the cool warm-up gear. You got nice sneakers, good size in your starting lineup. Now it's, can you execute? Can you do the things that it looks like you can do? And we'll discuss throughout the show, based on what he said, if we think he can or not. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, 99 questions about the college football season. The series continues next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Why are we pretending that Bronny James is an average prospect? He's LeBron James' son, and he's being treated as such.
To not take visits with any team that calls you is unbelievable to me. He doesn't want to play in the NBA based on the perception that we are getting right now. He wants to play with the Los Angeles Lakers and his father. He should ask to not be drafted.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell is known for flavors that push the boundaries of taste. Our oatmeal cream pie ice cream is an oatmeal-flavored ice cream with hints of brown sugar mixed with soft oatmeal cookies and a vanilla icing swirl. We've set the bar sky high for deliciousness.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your favorite grocer. If you can't find it, be sure to ask for it.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, it's bow time. So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some bow sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bo Sauce is back. That's right, Bo Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bo Sauce? Then it's Bo time.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. N76, visit staples.com/print for details.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is funny. Dennis, you're back on the show today. I had just gotten used to the rejoin music from 25-year-old Graham Hill.
Yeah.
Which, of course, was all like 70s.
Oh, yeah. Graham has an old soul when it comes to music. I bet he played a lot of Steely Dan for you.
We had some Steely
some
Dan,
Dire
we had some REO
Straits.
Speedwagon.
I believe it. Surprised you didn't get a ZZ Top in there.
Now we have Dennis Cox back, and we're getting the newer stuff. I'm just...
Little Maggie Rogers for you. I'm actually going to go see her in concert tonight.
Have you seen the video of Maggie Rogers and Pharrell?
No, I have not.
All right, this is semi-sports related.
Okay.
I'm not really, but I'm going to make it sports related.
Go on.
I am what I like to say is I'm a fan of talent.
Yeah.
Okay? Which I don't care if you are the best juggler in the world. Like if you're the best at something, I'm fascinated by it. How'd you get there? What did you do? Write a book. I want to read it. Maggie Rogers was at NYU. This is before she's famous.
All right.
And Pharrell, like Pharrell of the Neptunes, Pharrell Williams, the guy that produces Snoop Dogg and Missy Elliott, like the legend, goes to NYU, friend of the teacher or whatever, and does like a seminar. And they pick 3 artists trying to be an artist at NYU, like music school. And they say, you're going to play your music for Pharrell, and he's going to give you notes in front of like this entire group of musicians.
Okay.
Really cool moment. And, one guy group goes up there, plays it, and Pharrell's like, I don't like the beginning, but once you get into it, it's whatever. Next guy goes, oh, you have a kind of a cool voice, but it feels like you're trying to do what everybody likes and whatever. Maggie Rogers goes up there, and she plays this song. This is Maggie Rogers, super famous now, but not famous at all at the time. The entire song was like found sound, right? So she had like recorded stuff throughout and put it together in a song, and she sang and they played it. And Pharrell Williams, this shows how much of a genius Pharrell Williams is. looks at her and goes, I have no notes. Your voice is unreal. Like, your point of view is unreal. I wouldn't change that because that's completely original, completely unique. You're a star. And I was like, what? And if I'm not mistaken, the song ended up being, with a few tweaks that she ended up making, like her hit that made her famous.
Really?
And now she's touring. Dennis Cox is going to go see her in concert.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I are going to see her tonight.
And like, I encourage everyone to go. It's like I don't know, might be 15-minute video. It's on YouTube. It's gone viral a few times. But it's just like, how in the heck? First of all, she was that good from the jump, right? Some people just have it. She's actually from right near where I grew up I went to high school in Maryland. She's from Easton, Maryland. And then how is Pharrell that good that he hears a song one time and he's just like, you got it, I'm out. And she goes on to be a star, like, you know, within 2 or 3 years later, she's touring and everything. I'm a fan of talent. So when you look at, and I say this, it happens across all, I call sports kind of an art as much as it's a science. There are some people that just get it, right? It's why, in a lot of ways, Steph Curry has ruined youth basketball.
There's that.
Because it's like, you could try to be Steph, or maybe Steph is just one of those, he's Maggie Rogers, you know what I mean? He walked up to Pharrell and said, watch this, and Pharrell was like, no notes, you're good. Everybody else has to learn how to, like, defensive slide. You know what I mean? Everybody else has to learn what a good shot and a bad shot is, right? Everybody else is those other two NYU, probably musical geniuses, right? They probably got perfect pitch. They're probably unreal, who Pharrell looked at and said, oh, it's good, but let's work on this, that, and the other. That's most people. Steph Curry is the guy who's like, I could shoot from half court, and coach has to go, fine. Like, it's a good shot for you. Jordan Poole, we got to teach you what a good shot is.
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's jump into 99 questions about the college football season. The question for today, it's triangle related. Who are the best coordinators in the triangle? Offensive and defensive coordinators. And the reason why I ask is because head coaches get the record attached to their name, right? Your winning percentage, your win-loss record, how many wins, all the records. Dave Doran is the winningest coach in NC State history. Les Miles is suing LSU because they forfeited some of his wins. They vacated some of his wins, and now his win percentage is below 60%, which is the minimum requirement to go into the Hall of Fame. All of that gets attached to the head coach. But so often, the decisions that impact winning or losing come from the coordinators, right? In a game of inches, one play call on fourth down from the head or an offensive or defensive coordinator, and everything can change. So let's start at should we start at the top or the bottom?
Top.
Start from the top. I think this is the most obvious. The best coordinator in the triangle is the defensive coordinator of the NC State Wolfpack, Tony Gibson. I think they're lucky that he doesn't want to be a head coach, or else he would be. And that's my only justification for why he's not already. I don't know if he wants to or not, but the only way it makes sense to me in my brain is he doesn't want to be a head coach, which is his choice. Next up, I'm actually going to stay on the defensive side of the ball, go to UNC, Jeff Collins, which not many people, like Jeff Collins, people will remember maybe for flaming out a bit as the head coach at Georgia Tech. Some people are just better coordinators than head coaches. He was a really good coordinator at a few stops in his career before this, Mississippi State, Florida. So I'm looking at him thinking maybe he's getting back to where he should be. And if you're just running a defense and you can recruit your guys and do all of that, give him a year or two if he's still around as that position. I think they can get something going in Chapel Hill.
As someone who's been both a head coach and an assistant coach at the college level when it comes to lacrosse, when you're an assistant coach, it's so much easier to focus on just like the one or two things, and you can put all your attention into it. I was so much better as an assistant coach as I was a head coach, especially after I was a head coach previously. I was like, oh, this is a lot easier to do.
And I think a lot of it has to do with, like, it's about the game, meaning like the head coach, in a lot of ways, you're like a business person. You got to schedule stuff. You got to
delegate.
You got to talk to administration. The coordinators are like, let's decide what we're doing on third down. The head coach is like, Hopefully I can make it to that third down meeting, but I got to talk to some boosters. I got to make it over to the training staff, see how the injuries are progressing. I got to talk to the equipment staff, and I also, I have 2 meetings with players that are unhappy. And then if I have time, I'll make it to the third down meetings. It's like, doesn't sound like fun to me. Next up, I'm going offensive coordinator Robert Anae, NC State. He's an interesting dude. His entire reputation is on adjustability, adaptability, flexibility. He builds an offense seemingly every year around the skill set of the team. I think it's probably better to be a little bit in the middle where you do have a system that you tweak to everybody else. But Robert Anae seems to be like, I can run it 50 times a game. I can throw it 70 times a game. We can put up big numbers. We can try to ball control. We decide on a darn near month-to-month basis. So that's a cool trait, but I don't know if it's the best. Next, UNC's offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey. Duke, I promise I'll get to you eventually. Chip Lindsey, he's been around, journeyman offensive coordinator. Since 2014 at different stops, he's been the offensive coordinator at Southern Miss, Arizona State, Auburn, UCF, and now UNC going into his second year. He was the head coach at Troy for a couple years in there. It's kind of a yin and a yang, right? You must be good. People keep hiring you and keep liking what you've done to keep getting these jobs.
Yeah.
But also you keep moving on from these jobs, so either the staff's getting fired or they're moving on from you. So it's a little bit of both. I think last year was a tough situation for him because he inherited Drake May in his final year, and everybody thought, well, you're going to score 100 points a game or it's a disappointment. I think this year he can start really putting down his kind of style of play. And then I'll put in a tie for the bottom spot. Defensive coordinator Jonathan Patke, offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer, the Jonathans for Duke. Just not a lot of experience. A lot of quality control positions in their resume. The last 2 years, each have kind of jumped into the offensive defensive coordinator ranks at schools like SMU, Texas State, and Incarnate Word. Mm-hmm. Some position coaches for the defensive coordinator at Miami. Both crossed paths with Manny Diaz at Miami. But I think this is going to be a year where Manny Diaz's fingerprints are all over everything as his offensive and defensive coordinators learn how to be coordinators at the Power 5 level.
They just have a lot to learn.
Power 4 level. Sorry.
Power 5, Power 4.
Power level.
Can we just call it the power conference level? Just power conference
level. Much easier.
Level.
I make a mistake every single time. But you're right. It's just they got to learn.
Got a lot of proof.
Throw them in the deep end. See what happens.
But here's the thing as well. For them, it's probably a good situation because not a lot of people are expecting much from Duke this season because of the turnover. So it's like, hey, you know what? It's okay. Fail a little bit.
It's a good incubator to learn.
Fail a little bit. Learn.
Fail fast. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break. When we come back, oh, sorry, I have this a little backwards. When we come back, the college sports season, really the 2023-2024 sports season in the Triangle came to a close yesterday when UNC lost in the College Baseball World Series in Omaha. We're going to put an 8th grade graduation spin on the college and pro sports seasons. You'll see what I mean. Stick around.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan with a Men's Health Month tip from WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Each year, smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Those aren't odds you want to play with. Don't put off kicking the habit. In just 1 year after quitting, a person's risk for coronary heart disease decreases by half. Learn more about how you can quit and get started today, plus other ways to care for your heart at wakemed.org.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Tim McGraw. In concert. The Standing Room Only Tour 2024. A night filled with your favorite songs. PNC Arena, Raleigh, Saturday, June 22nd. With special guest Carly Pierce and Timothy Wayne. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Tim McGraw. Presented by Sports Illustrated.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity line of credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity line of credit in just minutes, and we can get you your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Diamonds Direct has done it again. This month only, get ready for an offer you can't resist. Buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right, a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet will not last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Free is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's. Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/19. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The 2023-2024 sports season finished up yesterday as UNC couldn't pull off the comeback against Florida State. Seems like we've been through a lot this year. So I thought instead of doing like the serious, let's put together a ranking of our top 10 moments of the 2023-2024 season, instead of going that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but instead of going that way, I thought we'd do it like a 8th grade graduation, right? Everybody knows how the 8th grade graduation goes. You get the entire grade in the cafegimatorium at the same time. You bring down the projector screen, you play some song, and you hit the play on the slideshow. And then everybody sits there and goes, oh, remember when Mr. Jones shaved his head because we raised the money for the charity? Oh, remember the field trip to the zoo? Oh, remember field day? Oh, remember science class? And just it's over and over and over again, and right? And then there's like the one that comes up with the kids and says, oh, who was that? Did they go here? And they're in the corner like, yeah, that's me. Oh, and then it jumps to something else, right? Remember when they brought the snake to class? It was show and tell. They got in trouble for that. By the way, there was you weren't here. I don't know if did you walk in when the giant snake was in the mix?
No. And I'm very thankful I did not.
The Mix Mornings, one of our sister stations, their studio is right next to ours. I walked in the other day and they just had a massive I don't know what kind of snake, python, anaconda, something. It was big, and they were doing the whole morning show like you want to touch a snake. I don't know,
no, I don't.
But hey, remember when the reptile came to the so anyway, the 8th grade graduation. I thought we would just hit a bunch of remember whens from the 2023-2024 sports season here in North Carolina, and this is the song, right?
Yeah.
There's this one. There's graduation by, what is it, Vitamin C?
I think so. There's Good Riddance by Green Day.
There's a Green Day song. Yeah. There's Look at this photograph.
Oh, God, not
Every
that one.
Every time I do it makes me
Don't
laugh.
do that. That song's gets stuck in people's heads, Tim. You're like, remember when?
Remember when? Remember when Duke football beat Clemson in week 1 and Riley Leonard rumbled 40 yards up the right sideline to seal it, and it was like, what is going on? Duke football has arrived, and they stormed the field, and you found Derek Lively's shoe in the chaos?
Yeah, remember when I found Derek Lively's shoe during the whole bit?
Remember when that moment made everyone in America go, wait a second, Duke football? And they actually lived up to it for like a month or two?
Remember when College Game Day showed up to Duke?
Remember that was
against Notre Dame.
That all started that day. I feel like that's when Game Day immediately went. Remember when College Game Day came to Duke?
Start taking a look ahead. Yeah. That was a great game against Notre Dame, by the way. I know Duke lost. That was a fantastic football game.
It was, and Riley Leonard getting hurt at the end kind of uprooted everything. But that game was back and forth.
Remember Mike Elko?
Remember Mike Elko. Remember Mike Elko leaving?
Yeah.
Remember finding out Mike Elko was leaving when the private jet touched down in College Station, Texas A&M?
Yep.
Remember these 3 moments? University of Virginia. Mike O'Connell, buzzer beater to force OT versus Virginia in the ACC men's basketball tournament. Vance Honeycutt, walk-off for UNC versus Virginia in Omaha. NC State field goal to beat Virginia after your rookie quarterback, Calandria, took his helmet off to celebrate, and the penalty ended up doing him in. How's that taste, Virginia? Remember that? Oh, Virginia. Remember UNC's two overtime victory over Duke in football season?
Yeah, I do. The fans rushing the field?
The fans rushed the field because they beat Duke football.
Double OT.
Remember, was it Grayson Loftus was the guy making the plays?
He did. He started for Duke that game at quarterback. Remember when Tez Walker couldn't play? Remember that?
I hadn't until you
remember Tez Walker couldn't play because of the NCAA?
Because 2-time transfers weren't allowed, and now you're allowed 100-time transfers?
Yeah. I think they actually ruled that people, like players that were affected by that, get a year of eligibility back.
He could come back.
So, like, Efton Reed at Wake Forest gets his season back even though he played. Same with Cam Woods.
Yeah,
same with Cam Woods at NC State.
Remember when Tez Walker showed back up and in his second game was catching, like, a touchdown every other ball, and everyone was like, this is what they were missing.
Yeah.
Remember when, speaking of, Drake May threw a touchdown with his left hand?
Against App State, right?
I think it was, yeah. Just the right hand's pinned down. Defense thinks they have him, so he just flicks it out there with the left hand for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you end up 3rd overall pick.
It's true. Remember when NC State's scoreboard went on the fritz during that during that thunderstorm delay against Notre Dame.
And some reported that it got struck by lightning.
Yeah, which they were completely wrong. And then tried to cover their tails.
Do you remember how long was it? That was probably a 2.5 hour delay.
It was a long rain delay.
Remember when Audric Estime, the running back for Notre Dame, on the first play took it 80 yards after the rain delay?
To the house. Hey, remember when Peyton Wilson ran down that wide receiver in that game?
Remember when Peyton Wilson ran down that wide receiver? Remember when that play made me surprised that he ran only like a 4.49 at the combine when I was expecting him to run a 4.3 based on that play? Remember when? This feels fake. Not like, you know how every once in a while, like you think of like what went on during COVID?
Yeah.
Or it's just like, did that really happen, or am I imagining that? Remember when the starting quarterback for NC State in the middle of the season just said thanks but no thanks? I'm gonna sit out in redshirt.
Yeah.
MJ Morris.
Just like, hey guys, I'm done playing.
Remember, he was the starting quarterback at a power conference team that was winning. He had helped turn the season around.
Yeah.
And then he just said, sorry, I'm gonna sit this one out. Tried to convince us he wasn't transferring. He was just gonna preserve his eligibility and stick around, and then ended up transferring. Did that actually happen, or was that some weird fever dream that I had when I was sick?
Remember when their starting running back after 3 games said, I'm going to sit out the rest of the season so I can save my year of eligibility and transfer somewhere?
Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when their coach told the former Panthers legend to kiss his bleep?
Yeah.
Dave Doran told Steve Smith Sr. Because Steve Smith Sr. insinuated that NC State was a basketball school.
Yep.
So he said, hey, we're not a basketball school. Steve Smith can kiss my bleep. Salty Dave.
Love Salty Dave.
Remember, I've got so many in front of me. This, like, every once in a while you see this go viral on Twitter. Someone will just say, like, this has to be the funniest NBA season ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then people just post funny things that happened, and they just post. I feel like we could do that with the North Carolina sports season this year. Remember when 25-year-old Cormac Ryan scored 30-some-odd points against Duke in Cameron Indoor to become kind of a Duke-North Carolina rivalry legend?
Yeah.
Even though he was in, like, his 25th year of college?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Kyle Filipowski getting trampled?
Oh, at Wake Forest.
You can't. I hope if you're not watching on our YouTube live stream, I am finger quoting. Trampled in the court storming at Wake Forest.
Remember when Kyle Filipowski tripped a guy?
Remember when Kyle Filipowski tripped a guy? And do they have to teach it? You can't go to the school Grayson Allen went to and then get caught tripping a guy.
Through osmosis.
Remember the DJs? DJ Burns and DJ Horn leading NC State on one of the more magical Final Four runs that I've seen, let alone been able to be a part of covering. Remember when we were at the ACC championship and NC State was losing to Louisville in their first game, their Tuesday game of the ACC championship by 12 in the first half. And we were sitting there looking around going, yikes. And then they reeled off 9 straight wins and made it to the Final Four.
Remember when Jim Boeheim was talking smack about NC State?
Celebrating against Syracuse. Was it against Syracuse?
I think it was.
Yeah, Jim Boeheim. No bias there.
Nope, none at all.
Remember Frank Reich?
Remember when Frank Reich gave up his play calling duties to Thomas Brown?
Only to then take them back.
Only then to take it back.
Only to then lose him when he got fired.
Yeah.
Only to have Thomas Brown take him back up for the last little stretch. Remember when C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young faced off against each other in an NFL game, and Bryce Young won heads up? I feel like everyone forgets that because C.J. Stroud was so much better on the year.
he was. Let's be real, he was better. Remember Scott Fitterer?
Just remember him as.
Just remember Scott Fitterer.
Yeah, I remember him.
Remember Brian Burns got traded?
Remember Brian Burns? Remember Brian Burns was holding out but not holding out, and then he showed up, and then he was like not practicing, but he was practicing?
Yeah. Weird times.
Remember DJ Chark?
No. I don't, because he wasn't out there catching passes.
He was dropping them, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He was doing. Remember Hayden Hurst? We could just do this with Panthers.
Oh, God. We could do it a little bit with Carolina Hurricanes, right? Remember Michael Bunting?
Remember Michael Bunting.
Remember that was one of the big free agent signings this past summer for the Carolina Hurricanes? Hey, Michael Bunting, 3-year deal, $4.5 million or so.
Remember Yaniv Peretz? Yaniv Peretz was Rod Brindamore's son's college teammate who, because the goalie situation in Carolina got so dire, got called up without even going through the AHL, straight to the NHL.
Yep.
Played 13 minutes, saw one shot on goal, made one save, never saw the ice again. I don't even think I think he went back down to the ECHL.
He went right back to the ECHL after
Norfolk.
that.
So, yes, remember Yaniv Peretz has the best save percentage in the history of the National Hockey League.
Sounds like a good 1B.
Sounds like a good 1B?
Yeah.
Remember Kane's a good one. Remember the players only meeting in the middle of December?
Yeah.
When everyone was very, very worried about a veteran team that had been very, very good for 5 straight years? They should have had a players only meeting when they were down 0-2 against the Rangers. Because it worked. The mid-December, it worked.
It worked. Remember Jake Gensel?
Gosh.
I'm saying that like he's gone already.
Not here long enough. It's like remember that gifted, skilled wanderer that came through Raleigh for a couple of weeks? Remember the edible mascot at the Pop-Tart Bowl?
Oh, that Pop-Tart was hilarious. That Pop-Tart deserves a raise.
It was it was like the most watched non-college football playoff
Yeah,
bowl
it was.
because everyone was just so jacked up. First of all, good game, good teams, earned it. Big. It was also an edible mascot.
I know.
Remember when the undefeated ACC champion wasn't put in the college football playoff?
Okay, I thought we were having happy memories here.
Hey, remember that time I failed the test? Like that's 8th grade graduation. You did it all. Remember the fire drill?
Remember the lawsuits?
Remember the
by
lawsuits?
Florida State? By Clemson?
Still going on. What do you mean remember them?
Yeah, I know.
That's like today.
Remember the Board of Trustees meeting by Florida State about said lawsuit?
Remember when they first walked out and said it's not a matter of if but when, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's probably more. Anything we're missing that's big? Remember the double Final Four for NC State?
Yeah.
Remember Brennan Armstrong?
Brennan Armstrong.
Remember
Riley Leonard transferring?
Jordan Moore? Remember Sam Hartman?
Yeah.
Coming back and basically playing an ACC schedule at Notre Dame after leaving Wake?
Caleb Love coming back to the Triangle?
Remember Caleb Love? Remember RJ Davis and had that streak where it was like 25 a game for 7 straight, and it was like, when did this guy turn into the best scorer in the country? And then he was the ACC Player of the Year.
Remember us wondering if he was going to come back? Remember like 10 Duke guys leaving?
Remember 10 Duke. Duke made the Elite 8, and then like 2 weeks later had 2 players on their roster.
Now, some of it was graduation and NBA draft. Okay, fine, but you know.
Remember Armando Bacot?
Oh, my God.
This is the first time he hasn't been a Tar Heel in a very long time.
He was a Tar Heel pre-COVID.
He was. And he got the COVID extra year. And he was making money.
Wild times.
Wild times. That was fun. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Remember the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 5, where the Oilers are forcing everybody to travel all the way back up to Alberta?
That game was awesome last night, by the way.
The game, awesome, yes.
Yeah, it was so fun. If you just love entertainment, great sports, that's a game for you.
Connor McDavid, also awesome. Awesomer? Yes?
Awesome is an understatement.
He should win the Conn Smythe.
Oh, give it to him now.
Yeah, it's locked up as far as I'm concerned.
For those who don't
win,
know,
lose, or draw.
For those who don't know what the Conn Smythe Trophy is, it is given to the playoff MVP in the Stanley Cup playoffs. For example, Cam Ward was given to this day back in 2006, 18 years ago.
18. I'm bad with math. Is that 18?
Yeah.
18 years ago. Today is the anniversary of that cup raising. It's very quiet, lonesome clap. Just remember.
It's like, remember when?
Remember when?
Remember when?
18 years ago. I think there's 5 times in NHL history that the Conn Smythe has gone to a player that didn't win the Stanley Cup, with the most recent being like 03, I think is what we're looking at. So we're looking at over 20 years. It doesn't happen often. I think this is one of those, it doesn't happen often, but it should happen today. Whether the Oilers can pull off the comeback or not, what Connor McDavid is doing deserves to be remembered by history. McDavid has 42 points with at least 1 game to go, maybe 2. To put that in perspective, the only postseasons that a player has had with more points than that are Gretzky in 85, he had 47.
Yep.
Lemieux in 91, he had 44.
Mm-hmm.
Gretzky in 88, he had 43. And that's it. Now, I do think Gretzky and like Wilt Chamberlain kind of obey by rules of you kind of have to remove them from record books or else everybody else is just going to feel insecure. Because Gretzky put up 47 points in 18 games.
Yeah, it was stupid.
McDavid is on 24 games, and he has 42. And it seems like the craziest thing we've seen until you compare him to Gretzky. And then it's like, oh, well, actually.
Like, oh, okay.
It's. I mean, there's Wilt Chamberlain and Gretzky in those respects. Because Wilt Chamberlain's like, so-and-so averaged 35 points per game. It's the 6th best single season, except for that, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 55. So what is going on here? So if you remove Gretzky, it's just Lemieux in 91 and then McDavid this year. That deserves to be remembered in history. In a lot of ways, it seems like he just kind of decided the Oilers were not going to get swept and instead turned it into a series. Like they were down 0-3, and it felt like the best player on the ice just said, we're not going down like that. We saw the Mavericks do this in the NBA, right? They were down 0-3. Luka kind of said, we're not going out like that. He had 20 points in the first quarter. They ran away with Game 4. The problem was they came back down to earth in Game 5, and they lost, and the Celtics hoisted the trophy. McDavid in Game 4 said, we're not going out like that, had 4 points. They won the game 8-1. Came back in Game 5. He had 4 points again. 2 goals, 2 assists this time rather than 1 goal, 3 assists, and they won. So now it's 3-2. And you're going back to Edmonton. Yesterday, we asked the question, right? Dennis, you weren't here, but Graham and I asked the question, should Connor McDavid get the Conn Smythe trophy even if they don't win the series? And we tried our best to answer it, right? Well, if he does this, if he does that, then yes, or no. He answered it himself last night.
Yeah.
He said, guys, I'll make it easy for you. Don't worry about it.
I'm just going to score 4 more points. Here's just 2 more goals and 2 more assists.
Yeah, I mean, if you were close coming into the day, you're over the edge now.
To think what he's done in elimination games. Just the last 2, he's literally 3 goals and 5 assists in the last 2 games.
It's a great series for most.
Wild.
It's a great series for most. And as I said yesterday, I'll say it again, because if you're going to keep scoring 4 points, you have to kind of keep reiterating it. That's what everyone's up against.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, if you don't have him, you have to build a team that is strong enough in the aggregate to beat him. Right? I'm as big of a fan of some of the individuals on the Canes as you'll find. Right? I enjoy rooting for them. I think they're great players. I think in a lot of ways, some of them are underrated. You can't negate Connor McDavid 1-for-1. Right? There's no one person that can equal. But what you can try to do is build a team, build a roster that can overcome the Connor McDavids of the world by being better in all of these other places to make up that difference. Because watching him, I mean, that 1 goal, it's you can almost feel I've only seen this happen in real life playing one time. And you can save the jokes for another time. But I played middle school and early high school football with Manti Te'o. Manti Te'o finished, 3rd in the Heisman Trophy. But you know who Manti Te'o is. Played at Notre Dame. What people don't know about Manti Te'o is he was like the same size and athlete when he was in 8th grade that he was when he was winning the Heisman in the Heisman finalists at Notre Dame. And you would see, like, in the eyes of the guys we're playing, like, oh, please don't make him, like, because we played running back, obviously, as in addition to linebacker. You'd see, like, the outside linebackers, like, please have the run go the other way. Please have the run go the other way. You almost saw that at times with McDavid yesterday, where defenders would be skating back on defense, and they'd just be going like, I hope he doesn't end up one-on-one with me. I hope we can get him off the puck somehow. Get him off and then they couldn't relax until he did, and then he just scored the goal, and everybody got embarrassed, and it happened. Which, by the way, Manti did a lot of embarrassing of kids in 8th grade football as well. It's a different beast when somebody is playing at that level. And by the way, the Panthers were playing super well until McDavid turned on this faucet of goals and assists.
Bobrovsky turned human.
Not only him, like, remember when Barkov was going to get all this love for what he was doing in handle the injury? Is that what you're going at?
Well, no, I don't know if it was necessarily that, but I was thinking as well. Remember we talked about so much with the Carolina Hurricanes, kind of related back local about against the New York Rangers, they kept giving up shorthanded goals and couldn't score on the power play. Well, what's happened to the Florida Panthers the last few games? They've given up multiple shorthanded goals and only have one power play goal this whole series.
I mean, that's a recipe. We've seen the recipe.
We've seen that recipe
We've seen
before.
what it cooks. We've seen the meal. It's not tasty. But going back to Barkov for a second, like, he was getting all of the credit in the world for, like, containing McDavid. And then suddenly he gave up that group gave up a whole bunch of points in 2 games. No one's saying that really anymore. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Want to tell you about my partners over at Window Nation. I've mentioned this in the past, but, I've gotten into my old man hobby. I have a bird feeder in the backyard. I like to point out when the squirrels are trying to eat it and go get mad at them. You know what else I need? I need a window that is clear enough that I can open and close when I see fit, so I need to yell at the squirrels, get out of there. If your windows are sticking when they're opening or closing, not closing, that could be a sign that there's some wear and tear, some degrading of the materials. And it might be a time to give Window Nation a call. Window Nation are truly window experts, and they have lifetime warranties on their product. They only use the best sealants and caulking and materials to make sure that your window not only does the thing we need it to do, right? Look in and out, but also can open and close, can give you that fresh air, can keep the air that you're paying to heat and cool inside. They do it all. They are window experts, and they are extending their semi-annual sale, which is 50% off all window styles, plus 0% interest for 5 years, and an additional bonus if you schedule your appointment this week. They're extending that to give you an opportunity to take advantage of it if you haven't done so already. So give them a call, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's windownation.com to schedule now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, football at 4, the blueprints, the behind-the-scenes of the Panthers offseason continued. Episode number 2 dropped yesterday. What did we learn? Coming up.
Move your sports day forward.
We're not talking about a year here. We're talking about 10 days. This team is going to look different. You've heard the promos that we run for the show about how this team has played itself into more pay, how these players have played themselves into more pay, and what's fair and what's not. Just be prepared. The Eric Tulsky era is now upon us.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bo Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bo Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, it's Bo time. So don't wait, grab a Supreme and dip into some Bo Sauce. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bo Sauce is back. That's right, Bo Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bo Sauce? Then it's Bo time.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Today, we are at Holly Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate the next Scholar Athlete of the Month, Emma Pankunis.
She's a really great teammate. She's always looking out for everybody on the team and is a great leader. She's willing to set up her teammates for success and just puts herself in the position to help everybody out, and it's been really cool.
Emma is all in. She has been since the first day I met her freshman year.
My community is everything to me. So being able to kind of reach out and get back in these different areas and to people that have had such a big impact on me is just something that's rewarding in itself. I'm someone who have always prioritized my academics, and athletically, once I set those goals for myself, it became a big priority in my life. To be able to maintain what I want, have those goals set, makes it really easy to kind of focus on what's important. I've had so many people, not even just teammates, but throughout my club, throughout my high school experience, including my parents, that it's just everyone is pushing me to be as successful as I can be. And when I have so many people that are driving me and trying to keep me on track, that it just makes it easy to do it myself. And it makes it so much easier where you're not also trying to be successful for myself, but I'm trying to be successful for those people as well.
Congratulations, Emma.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have recognized scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Are you struggling to get a good night's sleep? Look no further than Parkway Sleep. For 20 years, we have been your locally owned and operated sleep center.
I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Did you know that people are waiting a staggering 6 to 8 months for a sleep study at other sleep labs? At Parkway, we understand the importance of your sleep needs. That's why we offer openings within weeks, not months, saving you time.
Don't let sleepless nights take over your life. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Attention soccer fans. North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Yep, it's a hot afternoon out there. Partly cloudy skies, a high of 90 degrees, but our humidity is still on the lower side. So in the shade, it feels okay out there. And we'll have a comfortable night tonight. We drop it to 68 under clear skies. Partly cloudy skies with a high tomorrow of 90 degrees. No rain in our forecast until early next week, but we're still on track for a very hot weekend. Heat indices up into the triple digits.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 56 points to 38,834.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. We're looking at the blueprint. The blueprint is, as I reminded you the first time an episode came out, state-owned propaganda video coming from the Carolina Panthers. They own it. They produce it. Their in-house media team films it, and everything they release is A-okayed, right? It's given the check. But they put out their second episode of their off-season behind the scenes. It's like 35 minutes, something like that. It's called The Blueprint, so it's The Blueprint 2, which makes me feel very Jay-Z. But this one I think was actually way more insightful into the actual inner workings of the Panthers than the last one. The last one was a lot of introducing Dave Canales, introducing Dan Morgan, and really all it became was just the Dave Canales energy hour, right? It was just, hey, guess what? Dave Canales, he's an optimistic guy, and he brings a lot of juice. This time, it was a lot of behind the scenes for free agency, a lot of behind the scenes for the draft, a lot of behind the scenes for the scouting department, and how they all interact. And the number one thing I came away with, Brant Tillis is a name we need to know. Brant Tillis is a bigger influencer in the moves and shakings of the Panthers than I think many of us expected. He comes over from the Chiefs, by the way. That's where they got him from. He had a position in the front office with the Chiefs, kind of a lead negotiator style role. I thought he'd be playing a similar role with the Panthers, right? His claim to fame, and this is as good of a claim to fame as you can get in a front office, is he negotiated Patrick Mahomes' deal, and that's as team-friendly as it gets. So then he came. I was expecting him to be the numbers guy, be the salary cap guy, be the negotiator. And what I learned watching this is he and Dan Morgan have a dialogue that streams back and forth, and it's not just, can we afford it? What can we do in the cap? What do we need to do? It is much more, equal. With an obvious Dan Morgan's the decision maker, but there's I'm going to listen to what you have to say, and I'm going to take that into account for my decision.
There's an influence there.
Yes. All the way down to, I thought this was funny, and a lot of the trades, Brant Tillis was the one actually fielding the calls, and then he would bring them to Dan Morgan, including the trade. We'll use this one as an example. So the Panthers traded up from 33 to 32 to get Xavier Leggett, and they did that in part because they knew they had the 39th pick also. So this is the 7th pick of the second round. And the Rams, they ended up trading with the Rams, and here's kind of how that happened. This is from the Blueprint, the audio they used.
Whoa! What?
The Rams just offered next year's 2 to move back to 52.
Next year's 2. Next year's 2 plus this year's 52. It's pretty good. That's true.
But when the Rams, when they offered what they offered, it was too good to pass up. We didn't have a 2 the next year in 25, so to get that 2 back, it feels really good going in the next year.
Can you play, I'm going to explain, but just like the first 3 seconds of that again. As soon as Brant Tillis saw the offer, he couldn't, whoa! This is what it sounded like.
Whoa! What?
There you go, that's it. Whoa! Presenting a trade like that to the GM, the GM is a human. They're going to be impacted by that, right? As opposed to, hey, Dan, Rams offered next year's was 2nd. Instead, it was, whoa, the Rams offered next year's 2nd. Of course that's going to, and then they cut right to Dan Morgan going, it was too good to pass up. That impacts things. Brant Tillis is an important dude. He's also extremely comfortable with Dan Morgan, as everyone was. I thought, they talk about alignment. They talk about everybody being a family. They talk about everybody being in. You got that vibe watching the Blueprint. Everybody in there, they had quite a few different pre-draft processes where they went around to everybody in the room. All right, let's talk about what our ideal player at your position is. Everybody give us your take. All right, let's get the guys that we believe are the dogs we're looking for. Everybody was involved, and then they also could razz a little. They could rag on each other a little bit. They brought out the old Demo Dan Morgan T-shirts at the end of the draft, and even Brant Tillis put one on. Give him a hard time about the star he was back in his playing days for Dan Morgan. So Brant Tillis, mover and a shaker, right? If I watch that and I'm another team, I'm going, all right. This, I don't even know if this is an appropriate joke that you can make in a movie anymore. Have you seen Hitch? The movie where Will Smith teaches guys how to go on dates?
Oh, Hitch, yes,
okay.
Of course.
It was a different time for Will Smith, but anyway. There's one part where he's teaching Kevin James's character, It's like the second or third date. And he goes, tonight is not about the girl you're trying to date. It's not? Who's it about? It's about her best friend, right? Women will not date guys who their best friend doesn't sign off on. I get a little bit of the vibe that, like, if you're a prospect and you want to get drafted by the Panthers, your top 30 visit to Carolina, it's not about Dan Morgan. It's not? Why? He's the GM. Who's it about? It's about Brant Tillis, his best friend. Dan Morgan doesn't draft people unless Brant Tillis signs off on them. Not saying that Brant Tillis has the final say. He might sign off on 5 people and then Dan Morgan gets to choose. But it feels like Brant Tillis has his ear. So Xavier Leggett, that guy had to sign off from both sides. That part of the draft room at this point in time in the behind the scenes. Tepper was there at some points. We'll talk about that later. But on one side, he had Brant Tillis. On the other side, he had Dave Canales. All 3 of them were pretty intentional about Xavier Leggett. And it was, as much as it was like the guy you like, as much as it was the tape you like, it was a size, speed, height, weight, 40 time, rare ability pick for Xavier Leggett.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because he has those things, right? Then you can't teach those things. And you look at Dave Canales' past. He had DK Metcalf. He had Mike Evans, 6 foot plus, pretty good deep threats. I thought it was fun seeing in this behind the scenes deal them, like, you want them to be convicted in their picks.
Sure.
Xavier Leggett was very much someone they were looking for prior to the draft. And, like, one of their, I talk about having an A plan, a B plan, a C plan, a D plan, an E plan, an F plan. You got to have, like, like you're going up the stadium, like a double A plan, a double B plan, a double C. You got to get you got to have so many backup plans. It's ridiculous going into the draft. Drafting Xavier Leggett was like ABCD. It was one of, like, the first ones.
Yeah.
It
was probably A1, A2,
yeah,
A3.
It was up there. And it's good to see them be able to execute that.
One thing that was pretty telling was early on in the episode, Dan Morgan sitting around with a bunch of the coaching staff and says, all right, describe to me for your position what, like, the ideal prototypical player is built like, look like. And you kind of hear descriptions from guys like, we need long arms, we need these kinds of things. And that physical build that you mentioned about Leggett clearly fits what they want. Clearly, I was like, the person that we described and all the physical abilities and everything, here he is.
And you can tell this staff and this front office there is a, like, minimum height, weight, speed for positions.
Mm-hmm.
You heard him say at one point in time, I think it was the defensive line coach, like, those 305 defensive tackles, 305-pound defensive tackles aren't getting it done anymore.
Mm-mm.
They wanted the big dudes. They talked about Xavier Leggett's size, height, and weight. You mentioned when they went around and did that kind of, what player are we looking at? There was a lot of long arms. There was a lot of that kind of stuff. Bill Belichick, with New England, was famous for, give me the college guy with production and versatility. If they're a little undersized, if their arm's a little short, that's okay. Doesn't seem like you're going to get that from the Panthers. You're going to get a team that looks like an NFL football team. And there's virtues on both sides. This team will intimidate you physically.
Some of the words you heard for, like, offensive linemen for guards. When you talked about Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, they featured those guys a lot. It's like, we need some width. We need some girth.
Yeah.
We need some big bodies up front. It's like, well, you got a couple of those.
Yep. Mauler. Just all those, the John Madden words, right? I want a guy who's got a little. That was awful. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Leave that to Frank Caliendo, right? Frank Caliendo. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Check that man out online at deepriversportingclays.com. If you maybe you missed out on the opportunity for Dad this past weekend for Father's Day, maybe you didn't get a chance to see Dad. Well, guess what? Deep River's still there. Head on down to Deep River. One of the things I love about going down to Deep River is that it's minutes away from anywhere in the Triangle. It's super easy to get to. It really is a beautiful drive. And Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, you don't got to worry about booking a tee time. They have a lot of different options for you, whether it's one-on-one training, their shooting school, or just doing a round of clays, and they have everything for your shooting needs down there as well. While you're checking them out on deepriversportingclays.com, while you're on that site, sign up for their newsletter. Sign up for it because when you get that newsletter, they sometimes will have some exclusive offers in there for people that subscribe. So you got to be a subscriber in order to get some of those exclusive deals. Also, when you head there, let them know you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan, because Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School will give you a free t-shirt when you let them know you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Check them out online again, deepriversportingclays.com, Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, just minutes away from the Triangle.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have to hit it and quit it and get to the storm tracker because there's quite a few Canes rumors spreading around. Stick around.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan. It's Men's Health Month, and WakeMed Heart and Vascular would like to remind you that stress and anger can have negative effect on your body, and if continued over time, can cause major problems like headache, upset stomach, insomnia, high blood pressure, and maybe even a heart attack or stroke. So take a time out, relax, take a deep breath, and walk it off. Manage your stress, and your heart will thank you. Learn more about caring for your heart at wakemed.org.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ah, spring. The perfect time to plant the seeds of intention. What we put in, we get back. Like at Cricket Wireless, where you get 4 lines for only $25 per month each. Now go forth and cultivate a stronger connection with yourself and the 3 other people on your phone plan. One more soothing gong for good measure. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Discounts vary per line. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See store for details.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping.
Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This music's a little different than what I'm about to talk about. Text music to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Alanis Morissette with special guests Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And Morgan Wade at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 27th. You know what you could call being joined out of break by hip-hop music only to immediately turn around and tell them how they can win Alanis Morissette tickets?
What's that?
Ironic. Don't you think? Text music to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Alanis Morissette, Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 27th. Now let's fire up Hit and Quit It. Hit and quit it. We line up some of the biggest stories in sports. We hit it. We quit it. We move on to the next. Never to look back. I'll get it started. Stanley Cup's going back to Alberta. The Oilers,
I know.
The Oilers not going down easy. It is weird. And when you are the team that's down 0-3, you find like little things to motivate you. And I do think, in a weird way, the Oilers were really, really happy that they're just making the NHL media travel all that way one more. Like, they're just a little more excited that they kind of ruined their week. And it's just like, yeah, you got to be away from your family for another 2 nights. Ha, ha, ha. Said we weren't going to win. Like, it's just those weird little things. When it was, why would I have to think? It was McDavid. When McDavid was walking out of the arena, somebody did yell at him like, looking forward to this flight. And he just looked at him and said, made all you guys travel one more time. Like it is genuinely like those stupid little things that like become the rallying cry as you're also trying to win a Stanley Cup. So it's not like you need extra motivation. It's just those weird little side quests. It's like, hey, media's out there isn't giving us a chance. Let's make them come back to Alberta one more time.
Yeah. Come enjoy this 10 p.m. sunset.
Cold.
It's probably pleasant.
It's
probably pleasant right
I've
now.
never been to that part of the world.
That's fair. Either way, the Stanley Cup Finals went from, man, we're looking at a sweep to, can they pull this thing off? Can they? Now, it has only happened, the last time a team in the NHL playoffs came down from down 3-0 in a series was 2014. It was San Jose Sharks. And I think they did that in the first round. The last time a team in the actual Stanley Cup Finals came back from down 0-3 was 1942. So we're talking from World War II was the last time a team in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals came back from down. Not recently. Not recently at all. So this series is completely flipped over.
People remember comebacks.
Yeah, it's last night's game was just pure entertainment. It was so fun to watch.
And opposite of Game 4, in Game 5, give the Panthers their credit. Like, they were an equal partner in the entertainment.
It's a two-sided thing.
The Game 4 was a little bit of a floodgates. What are you going to do? But Game 5, like, they were trading haymakers there. Like, there were, shots landed on both sides. And then obviously when you have Connor McDavid, you land 2 more shots, and you end up winning the game. But it is a different beast. It is a different beast. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Got him!
Are we stuck rooting for Florida State for the ACC because they're the only ACC school left in the College World Series. They're playing Tennessee right now. Florida State trails 3-0 in the top of the second inning right now. But are we stuck rooting for Florida State? And is this Florida State's audition to get into the SEC?
Two questions. I'll answer the first, the second. The first, yeah, I think we are. I think we are stuck.
That sucks.
This is the second time this has happened this year.
I know.
Football season, once Florida State won the ACC championship, we had to throw all of our support and weight and momentum behind Florida State.
But we were cool with them then because they hadn't sued the ACC yet.
I still didn't like them.
I mean, I didn't have to like them, but at least we were like, okay.
But they were talking about wanting to get out, right? They hadn't sued yet.
Yeah, but that's what pushed it over the edge. Let's be real.
It's just here are your other options. You either throw your support behind Florida State, they eliminated UNC and they're still alive, or you root for the SEC. What's better there?
Nothing.
And you don't want to make the joke about like maybe nobody can win because it wasn't that long ago that tournaments weren't being finished and that wasn't fun at all. So you need a winner. If it's got to be somebody, I'd rather it be the ACC. I'd rather have another situation where I can look at the ACC and say, see, you don't need all the money in the world to compete with the SEC. Mm-hmm. You just proved it, Florida State, you dummy. You shouldn't be this good if you want to prove to us that you can't be this good. What was the second part? Oh, the second part was, is this an audition for the SEC?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think baseball matters at all.
See, I think I'm going to throw tinfoil hat on. I think if Florida State wins today, Tennessee's still alive, but Tennessee wins tomorrow whenever they play next, and Tennessee gets to the College World Series Finals, I think they're going to say, hey, you know what? You're good enough to hang with us, but you're not good enough to beat us. Therefore, you can hang out in our circle because you're not going to outshine us.
I'll put on tinfoil hat in a different way.
Sure.
Obviously, when your team loses, you go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Omaha is a whole bunch of SEC. There's probably SEC commissioners, SEC movers and shakers, and most of the ACC is probably left. But Florida State's still there. And where do, the old saying, business deals happen on the golf course?
Mm-hmm.
Business deals happen in bars. Business deal happens in restaurants. Business deals happen in the stands at a game. Business deals happen on the field when everyone's just kind of moseying around while players get warmed up. There's a lot of opportunities for Florida State people, movers, shakers, power brokers, to interact with SEC people, movers, shakers, power brokers in informal settings, right? Like, hey, off the record. What if it only cost you $300 million to get out of the ACC? Would that be something you'd be interested in? I'm just.
What if?
We're just talking here over a couple of the espresso martinis.
There you go.
Like we're just chatting. This is hypothetical. But what's your answer? Those conversations might be happening. That's my tinfoil hat. I just don't want Florida State around them.
Yeah.
I want the SEC kept in the southeast. Which would never mind. That geography is not my strong suit. We've proven that twice in this segment already. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
You done messed up, Aaron.
The PGA has approved the funniest exemption in sports history.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods gets to play whenever he wants.
Yep, that's it.
The last 2 years have been spent making certain PGA Tour events more and more exclusive, thus guaranteeing more and more money to the best players on tour, right?
They call them the premium events,
Elevated
right?
events.
Elevated, yes.
Elevated events. So there's no cut. If you start on Thursday and you stay healthy and you don't withdraw, you're going to play till Sunday. But the fields are much smaller. Instead of 120, 130, there's 60 or 70 in these elevated events. And because of that, they're harder to get into. Tiger Woods wasn't meeting the qualifying criteria for any of them because he plays 4 times a year now and doesn't play exceptionally well when he does because he's old and he's hurt and he's been through a lot. Golf old, not life old for everybody out there. PGA literally passed an exemption that says Tiger Woods gets to play in all PGA Tour events if he wants to, and it goes into effect in 2025, the next PGA season. I think they were close to doing the right thing here. Close. But they didn't hit it perfectly. Because, as we're aware in the business we're in, sports are entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And Tiger Woods he puts butts in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
He brings people to the course. He brings thousands and thousands. Like, we were at the U.S. Open, and I can tell you right now, when I was at the driving range, I turned around from the little media section we had, and I saw that Scotty Scheffler was on one side, Max Homa was on the other side, two of the most popular, best golfers in the world right now, and Tiger Woods was in the middle, and I turned around and looked at the crowds. Nobody even knew Scotty Scheffler or Max Homa were there. They were focused on Tiger. So I get why they want Tiger at these events, to help make money. I think they could have been a little bit sneakier about it. I think you say, instead of saying Tiger gets to play, you say something like, everyone with 75 PGA Tour wins gets an exemption into every PGA Tour event.
That's fair.
Because there's two people in history with that many wins. One of them, Sam Snead, long ago dead, and one of them's Tiger Woods. It would be as if, like, they wanted to make a rule for Tom Brady, where it's like Tom Brady can have his footballs a little deflated. They would just say, like, anyone with 7 Super Bowl championships can have it. Like, it is the Tom Brady rule, but you don't want to name it that because that just feels weird, right? Don't make it the Tiger Woods exemption. Make it the 15 major exemption. If you have 15 major championship victories, you get an automatic exemption into every tournament. That's what I would have done. But I do get why you're like, no, actually, let's make sure we get Tiger to every event because we all like making more money and having more people show up.
Yeah, Tiger there moves the needle.
And I don't think he'll choose to go to many of them, if any of them anyway.
Probably not.
Maybe just the one that he hosts out there in Southern California. Let's hit this.
You like that?
I beat you to the quit.
I like that.
That you did. The NFL is changing a rule. The comeback player of the year, you actually, I don't know, have to come back from other than being bad and being benched. Joe Flacco won the comeback player of the year award this past year. He came back from his couch.
He came back from the beach.
Yeah.
He's a Jersey Shore guy. He came back from the beach.
There you go. Whereas a guy like DeMar Hamlin, who had to be resuscitated on the field in a game in Cincinnati, didn't win comeback player of the year. It's like, what are we defining as comeback? And I think, Tim, they actually are clearly defining, and I think you actually have what the NFL said. They're clearly defining the award.
What they're saying is the award is now designed to go to somebody who, through illness, injury, or some other circumstance, missed time the year before. So it's not being benched.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't come back from being bad. Geno Smith and Joe Flacco being the last two comeback players of the year, I honestly don't know what either of them came back from. You get hurt, you miss a big part of the season, you came back from injury. You have a health scare off the field, you come back from injury. I don't know, jail, like you got to come back from something.
Yeah.
It can't be you came back from I wasn't that good.
You came back from playing for the Jets. Which actually probably should be a comeback.
If you leave the Jets and you play a lot better, you can come back from the Jets.
So Zach Wilson would be comeback player of the year winner
if he gets to play, maybe.
So it's actually nice to see them actually define what comeback is, as opposed to, hey, you weren't good last year and you were really good this year. So you're comeback player of the year.
You were just a backup. You were just a backup last year. Like, not even bad. You were just backup.
Yeah.
Now you're a starter. Way to go.
And I know some people last year when there was the debate of like, oh, should Joe Flacco win it or DeMar Hamlin? It's like, well, DeMar Hamlin didn't do much of anything on the field in terms of stats and stuff like that. Like, that's not the point.
Well, that's fine.
That's
Even
not
if
the
it's not
point.
DeMar Hamlin, find somebody who tore their ACL and then played well the next year.
When Adrian Peterson tore his ACL and came back, that's comeback player of the year, like 100%. When Alex Smith had the gruesome leg injury, the fact that the people, when he stepped on the field to like his first play, it was like, there's the comeback player of the year.
Eric Berry, remember when he
had cancer?
He had cancer and he came back and like comeback player of the year has to come back from something. So I'm fine with that for the NFL. Matter of fact, it's something I've been saying the last few years. So NFL did something good for once.
Yeah.
All right, that makes me feel icky. Let's quit the whole thing. We can't be complimenting the NFL.
Well, we can't compliment the NFL right now?
No, it's just we did it. We did our obligation.
We did.
As journalists to call it as we see it. The NFL did something good. Now let's move on to the Storm Tracker.
Okay, Storm Tracker, loading it up right now.
I know we're like 30 seconds early, but there's a lot of rumors.
There's a lot of stuff already happening in the NHL right now, Tim. Like actual factual concrete things are happening in the NHL. So we've always talked about how the Martin Necas move, right?
We have talked quite a bit about the Martin Necas move.
A lot going into that. So what's a guy like Martin Necas going to command in return? A high-level player, correct? Well, he's been linked to the Vancouver Canucks multiple times, including going all the way back to last year's trade deadline. And a player that Martin Necas has been linked to has been a defenseman by the name of Filip Hronek.
Mm-hmm.
Filip Hronek, pretty much the exact same situation. Same age, 25, 26 years old, restricted free agent. Last year that he can have his rights controlled by a team.
Could be like a little trade problem for a problem.
Well, exactly.
You don't know if you want him long term. We don't know if we want this guy long term. Let's flip it.
A true hockey move. Hey, we're going to give you a stud forward. You give us a top 4 defenseman in return. Cool. Deal. Let's make the move. Filip Hronek signed an 8-year contract extension yesterday with the Vancouver Canucks. So take that guy off the list. Also, what happened today as well, multiple goaltenders have already been traded today in the NHL. We have seen Jacob Markstrom from the Calgary Flames, another team that Martin Necas has been linked to. They traded him to the New Jersey Devils for a defenseman and a first-round pick. So Jacob Markstrom, he's off the board now for the Carolina Hurricanes. He had 2 years left on his contract. Also, backup goaltender sort of for the Washington Capitals. Kind of like basically a rotation guy with the Washington Capitals. Darcy Kemper was traded to the LA Kings.
I did see that.
A team that he previously traded for Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's like a 25-year-old defenseman who put up about 40 points this past season for LA. So a center going to the Capitals and a goaltender going to the LA Kings. So we have seen goaltenders on the move already. We are seeing players get dealt with the NHL draft basically a week away, Tim. Teams want to know, all right, am I giving up picks? Am I giving up prospects to get guys, or what am I going to get in return? Because it's going to alter what I do with the draft moving forward. We are concrete seeing guys get dealt already in the NHL. We have seen Barclay Goodrow get waived and picked up by San Jose. He was waived from the New York Rangers. So, again, guys are getting moved and dealt already.
And this is where you have to trust the front office of the Canes. Because, something like Vancouver, they may not have the pieces to acquire Martin Necas anymore, right? If it's not Hronek, it's who? Like, what else can they do?
Great question.
So that might be a potential suitor, or maybe even one of the more interested suitors in Martin Necas that now has to bow out, not because they're no longer interested in Martin Necas, but because another part of their offseason kind of indirectly eliminated them from the Martin Necas situation. And as we've been saying from the very beginning, as I've been saying from the very beginning, the best thing you can have in when you're going to trade a player who's valuable is multiple lines in the water. You want multiple teams that are all invested and trying to outbid one another. If you take out Vancouver, if you take out Calgary maybe because after their move, they're not into it, like suddenly that pool starts to dwindle. So you'd better, there's a timing to all of this.
There's a lot of moving and shaking that needs to take place. Pierre LeBrun, who works for The Athletic as well as TSN up in Canada, posted on social media on X earlier today. Word is the Hurricanes at this point in the process have received concrete trade offers for Martin Necas, but nothing yet they would say yes to. Should continue to heat up next week at the draft in Las Vegas. So he's saying there has been legit, hey, we will offer you this for Martin Necas.
It hasn't just been the well, what are you thinking? What do you want?
What about this guy?
What are your feelings on so-and-so? It's been actually like, would you accept this? That's the game.
Yep.
You turn it down because you think you can get more, that team might go fill their need for a forward elsewhere. That team may go take the package that they were offering you for Martin Necas and grab a piece of it and go sell that for a goaltender. Like it can change quickly. There's a timing to everything, right? We've seen it. We tend to make fun of players for it more, which is like what's the guy's name? He's a basketball player. He was on the Lakers. He was on the Hawks before that. He has the little dyed part of his hair. He's German. Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder. I guess Dennis Schroeder was offered like $84 million and turned it down. And then his next offer was like 1 year, $16 million.
Yeah.
And everybody likes to make fun of him because, you got cocky. Oh, you thought you were worth more. The same thing happens in trade negotiations. We have this player. All right, we'll offer you this player, and this player. I think I can get more. Then all of a sudden the market dries up, and it's like, well, we'll give you one of those. No, what happened? What happened?
You're like, whoa, wait a
I'll
second.
I want to take that offer you offered me before. Nah, doesn't happen anymore. So you have to be careful with an ever-changing market, and we're starting to see like tangible moves now that you don't wait too long or that you press it to the exact point you should without pressing too far.
Speaking of offers, Elliot Friedman, who works for a bunch of different, he has like
Sportsnet, does a lot of stuff.
Sportsnet has a whole bunch of different stuff. He said that the word is a contract extension for Jaccob Slavin, which he's eligible to sign on July 1st, will come at 8 years at about $6.5 million per year. So he still has 1 year left on his contract. So if he signs an 8-year extension, you're looking at 9 years total of Jaccob Slavin in a Carolina Hurricane sweater. Where's a pen? Where's a pen?
Anyone need a pen? I can
need
let
a pen.
you borrow
I got
pen.
one right here. You want black pen? You want a red one? You want blue? I got you.
Eric Tulsky should break his hand signing that contract so quickly. Is that smoke coming from the contract there? Yes, I'm signing quickly.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. I'm not worried about the Jaccob Slavin deal getting done. Would I like it to be at 6.5 rather than 7.5 for the team? Yes. But I'm not worried about Jaccob Slavin leaving. I think that guy is
It's a great deal.
And it's good for him too. Get paid
$6.5
million all the way up until you're 39. I think that's what it would end up being, 38, 39. That's, I won't feel bad for you on that one. And then you get to extend that window. You have Svech, you have Aho, you'd have Slavin. That's, the next, 6-7 years, all three of them locked in. Get Jarvis on that same timeline, and you get 2 or 3 builds at it, right? Then you can try some things, knowing they're not going anywhere. I like that rumor. Keep that rumor coming. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to tell you about my friends over at Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, the home of the no-cost loan. You may hear somewhere else, our rates are lower than Miller's rates. It's like, well, yeah, but then you got to pay all the costs and the fees. And here's the thing. You can do the math, right? Well, you can get maybe a slightly higher rate, but not pay any money out of your pocket for closing costs and fees. Or you can pay all of those closing costs and fees, the cash out of your pocket now, and there's a break-even point probably somewhere in the future. But guess what? Most mortgages in our country, the average mortgage in our country is 4 years, less than 4 years, the average length of the loan, how long you're holding the loan. So you better make sure that break-even point is early, because a lot of times it's farther into the future. And if you include the potential savings you could have if rates drop in the next 4 years and you refinance with a lower rate, again, no cost and fees out of your pocket, it's pretty interesting, right? You want to see how much money you might actually be leaving on the table by doing what you think you're just supposed to do, because that's the way it's always done. Call up Miller Lending. They can talk you through it all the way with numbers pertaining to your individual situation. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377 to call Miller Lending. You can also visit them online at millerlending.com. It's that simple, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2502146. We'll take a break. When we come back, we heard from Eric Tulsky, the Canes' new GM today. More reactions. Stick around.
We're jamming your June with championships. The NBA Finals.
It's an 18th title for the Celtics, the 2024 NBA champions.
The Stanley Cup Finals.
McDavid the other way, scores! And this one can't end soon enough for the Florida Panthers.
The U.S. Open.
And strokes the putt up the hill, into the middle. 2 times a U.S. Open champion, Bryce and DeChambeau.
Catch every winning moment with us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Hank Bauer, Chairman, ABC Commission. And we're here to talk about Talk It Out NC. What is Talk It Out NC?
Talk It Out program is a program that was established by the North Carolina ABC Commission years ago to try to prevent underage drinking. And thank goodness it's working. But it's very key that parents and children are getting together and talking about underage drinking. Parents need to get to them early. And if you go to our website, talkitoutnc.org, it'll help the parents have that discussion because it is a tough discussion.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Bobby Joe absolutely hated her job. Can't hate that job any more than I do. So, time for one of those fancy tech schools? No, I could never afford that. I'm going to Sharky's. Sharky's? Yeah, no better place to relax. Great food, cold beer, good whiskey, darts, billiards. So now you love your job? No, I still hate my job, but I loves me some Sharky's. I highly recommend it. Yeah, everybody loves Sharky's. Sharky's Place, one of the best neighborhood bars in the world. 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
The CIAA has selected Durham as the host site for the 2025 through 2027 CIAA Football Championship. The championship will be hosted by the Durham Sports Commission at the Durham County Memorial Stadium, conveniently located just north of I-85. Durham last hosted this energetic event in 2015 to sellout crowds. The Durham Sports Commission is excited to bring this popular event back to the Bull City. Visit DurhamNCSports.com for more info.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. Eric Tulsky spoke to the media for the first time as the permanent GM of the Carolina Hurricanes earlier today. Little press conference, little intro presser. For the most part, it was a getting to know you, right? It's a speed date. It's a, hey, you're an analytics guy. What's going on with that? It was that kind of stuff. But there were tiny little things that we can take away that were a bit more tangible. Things like players testing free agency and how he feels about it, some of his thoughts. Here's Tulsky on players possibly testing the market.
We don't want to have people get to July 1st if we can help it, but sometimes players need to know what else is out there, right? And so if they feel like they need to know, we can't force them to sign early. So sometimes that will happen. At this time, it's only 2 weeks away, but 2 weeks is an eternity. So right now it's really hard to forecast how it's going to go.
It's interesting because that is a little bit of an insight into how he operates. There are some GMs that almost dare their players to go test the market. Oh, you think you're going to make all that money out there? Go right ahead. And then when you don't get those offers, you'll come crawling back to me. Tulsky's like, no, we want them signed by July 1st. We don't want them testing the market. We want them to stick around. Also, that probably means he knows how good they are. You look at their free agents, you're expecting them to get large offers if they do hit the market. Might think of it as a cost-saving move to keep them around. The other thing that I think, or the other thing, there's a few other things that I think is interesting about Eric Tulsky is it is a really interesting point in like the Canes build because they've been good, right? Like let's not overthink this.
That's just fact.
They've been good, but it does feel like they're willing to tweak and change things this offseason to see if they can't break through whatever that glass ceiling is that's been holding them back in the postseason. Here's Tulsky from earlier today on changes or tweaks or what you might expect.
There will be some small tweaks to some internal processes, some things where I think we can be a little bit crisper about how we execute on some of the things we want to do. But our big picture organizational strategy isn't changing, right? There may be elements of the way we execute that strategy that change a little bit, but as a whole, as an organization, it's really important to us that we have the coaching staff's involvement in all of our decisions. It's really important that everyone in our management team and all of our scouts feel like they have a voice and contribute to the conversation.
Huh. That's why you hire internally, right? So you don't rock the boat. Shake the boat, is that a saying? So you don't rock the boat as much as an external hire would. External hire is going to come in with how they do things. Here's how we're going to do things now that I'm in charge. Eric Tulsky's like, yeah, little things are going to change, maybe a little bit. I would assume that Eric Tulsky is going to he'll be the boss that's like, you're going to have to get a portal. It's going to be a Teams. It's going to be a Slack, something like that. Don Waddell didn't strike me as the most shoot me a text guy. Seems like it was probably, just a little bit more tech stuff. But other than that, business as usual. That's what you're looking for because they have been good. And being frustrated at the end of the postseason shouldn't take away from the fact that you're one of the best teams in the NHL. Again, the postseason will show you that you haven't finished as the best team in the NHL yet, but you're one of the best teams in the NHL, and you can probably build off of what is there rather than knock it down and start over.
He even said that as much, towards the end of his presser. He's like, look, we're one of the top teams in terms of points in the regular season the last several years. We're the only team that has won a postseason round the last 6. That's not good enough. We're not satisfied with that, and nor should we be. There's still more for us to improve and to get better. And it's like, all right. I mean, we all know that too, but it's like, but at least it's not like, hey, we're going to keep things status quo. No, I'm taking over to make this thing better.
Mm-hmm. To get to where we haven't gotten.
Yeah.
And
not
to do something true. But this core is what I was talking about. To do something you haven't done, you have to do something you haven't done, whatever that saying is, right?
Yeah.
You can't expect to just keep doing the same things and get more achievements than you've been getting. And then I have this here. I'm going to read it to you. This is what I believe was the most interesting, tangible comment from Eric Tulsky's presser. We do need to make at least one hire, and we have not fledged out our hiring plan. We've heard so much about this roundtable. We've heard so much about this. He said, no decision is being made without 3 people weighing in on it, sometimes as much as 10. There's still somebody that's going to be one of those voices that has not been hired yet. This is why yesterday, when giving the hiring, the decision to knock off the interim title and make Eric Tulsky the permanent GM, when we graded it yesterday, my grade was incomplete. Eric Tulsky knows they need to make at least one hire. Who is that hire? Is it an internal promotion? I wouldn't hate to have an external hire there.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to stay internal for GM, Is it an assistant GM? Is it a consultant? Is it a vice president of something operations? That I think fresh eyes might help a little bit.
Now, I know Don Waddell also had the title of team president as well, and I think obviously Tom Dundon wants to have a team president to run the operations daily of the team. But yeah, in terms of the front office, though, it might be, we've talked to the name. Justin Williams is a consultant that's brought on for those decisions.
Which would feel, just to jump in quickly, would feel very much like Brant Tillis and Dan Morgan of the Panthers, which we just watched in the blueprint. You'd have the former player, football guy, and the numbers contract guy in Brant Tillis. It would just be flipped. It would be GM flipped. And the number 2 would just be flipped, with Justin Williams being the former player, the legend, and the actual GM being the numbers guy.
But I wouldn't hate, like you said, an outside influence coming in just to have a different set of eyes. Like, hey, well, what about this guy? What about that? Like, just kind of challenge in the room a little bit. I wouldn't hate that either.
I talk about the hand-up guy or the hand-up girl or gal, hand-up guy or gal, and all that is somebody who just raises their hands and is inquisitive and is like, is that the best way we should do it? Like, just throws that out into the conference room every now and then. Are we sure we want to do this? Like, the Martin Necas trade. If everybody just kind of gets it in their brain that you have to trade Necas, and then you start maybe considering offers that aren't good enough, you need to raise your hand and go like, yeah, what's up? Are we sure we want to trade Necas?
Yeah. What if we kept them?
Yeah. It's like, I know we were all gung-ho on trading him like 4 weeks ago when we thought we were going to get a starting defenseman and a top 6 forward, but the offers aren't there. Could we just keep him? Like, you need that hand-up person just to be the common sense in the room, or the step back and just be like, you guys are really in deep and I get it, and you're feeding off of enthusiasm and I love it. But have you considered this other thing? Right? Or maybe it's, have we considered looking for picks? I know you guys want a contributor right now, but maybe we could get a boatload of picks, then turn those picks into the contributor, right? Like, maybe we can get something that's a bit more universally desired than Martin Necas, and then we can use that to go get what we want. And then, of course, the other thing we learned, that we knew, but we learned, Tom Dundon does call a lot. I thought that was the most human moment of Eric Tulsky's press conference. When he went, yeah, Tom does call a lot. Almost like he wasn't sure if he should be saying it, but what's the point in hiding it? Everybody knows. Yeah, he calls a lot. The owner calls me a lot. Do you think he has a different ringer on his phone for Dundon?
As he should, absolutely.
What would it be? Because the joke is, right? The joke is when, I think it's a sitcom. The Darth Vader music starts playing on a guy's phone, and it's his wife.
Mm-hmm. The Emperor's March.
Sure. I what would it be for Dundon? Oh, you know what it should be?
It's gotta be that, right?
Dun 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 dun. It works for Dundon. Yeah. It works. Dennis, what do you have for us?
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free. I'm talking no credit cards, no car loan, and no personal loan. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value, it's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval, it's just minutes away, folks. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, the starting 5, coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio, WREL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and everywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Willie Nelson and family.
On the road again.
Bob Dylan.
When you're lost in the rain and worry.
Robert Plant and Alison Krauss.
I know I can't let go.
And more. June 23rd, Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh, for the 2024 Outlaw Music Festival. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Go to outlawmusicfestival.com for more details. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series, produced by Live Nation.
Thinking of popping the question? Diamonds Direct has an offer you can't miss. This month only, buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. No one provides education, selection, and value like Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet from your friends at Diamonds Direct won't last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. The heat more tolerable today than it was yesterday. Tonight's low about 68, up to about 90 again tomorrow with partly cloudy skies, a little drop in humidity. Friday is mostly sunny and warmer, up to about 92.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 56 points to 38,834.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to the starting five, Text MUSIC, MUSIC, to 919-860-5326. To enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Alanis Morissette with special guests Joan Jett and the Blackhearts and Morgan Wade at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 27th. That is keyword music. Text it to 919-860-5326 to see Alanis Morissette. It's ironic. I need to get more references. You ought to know more references. See what I did there?
I did.
See what I did there?
No, we all did.
Let's jump into the starting five, starting with number 5. 18 years ago today, the Canes won the Stanley Cup.
They did.
18 years ago, June 19th, the Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup.
Game 7 over the Edmonton Oilers of all teams.
Ironic. Actually ironic. That wasn't intentional. That was not intent. I got one hand in my pocket and the other one holding up the cup. It's one of those things. It's actually kind of funny because we actually have that newspaper like framed around here from the Canes winning the cup, and you walk by it every day and you don't really realize that it says June 20th because it came out the day after they won the cup, and then all of a sudden June 19th comes around and someone says, "Hey, it's the anniversary of," and you're like, "Yeah, look at that." The background becomes a living being for today. What have the last 18 years taught the Canes? That's an interesting one, right? Because when you're winning the cup, when you're hoisting the cup, it does feel like you're invincible. Anytime you win a championship, what do you immediately go to? Back to back.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Let's do it again. Run
Look
it
at
back.
This. Bring everybody back. Nobody leaves. Everybody's going to sign on to stay around, and we're going to win 9 of these things.
I'm signing, you're signing, we're all signing.
And then somehow it's 18 years later, and you're like, what's happened?
Yeah.
It's like the hangover. Where's Doug? It's like, what is going on? How did this – we were really bad there for a little bit. Now we're good again, but it seemed just like it was never going to end. What's the Office quote? Wishing we knew we were in the good old days before we left them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you really felt like they were going to stick around. So what have they learned? If we're being honest, I mean, the guys like Rod Brindamore, they already knew it all, right? Winning the cup is hard. What have the last 18 years shown? Winning the cup is hard.
It's difficult.
But the guys in 06 knew how hard it was because they did it. They knew what they had to give up. They knew what they had to sacrifice. They knew how hard they had to work. They knew how lucky they had to get. And as unfortunate as most athletes act like it is, to win a championship, you do have to have your fair share of luck. Now, the good teams are always lucky, but you know what I mean.
It's also, even just sustaining success is difficult. Because we saw nine seasons
That's what I'm saying.
straight of
years.
not even making the playoffs, like
dark years.
Barely on the edge maybe a couple times, but yeah, just sustained success.
Winning the cup is hard. Maybe lucky number 19? Is that what we're going to say? Lucky number 19?
Why not?
Lucky number 5? Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 Horsemen. Woo!
The Panthers, episode 2 of their behind-the-scenes YouTube series, The Blueprint of their offseason, came out last night. I watched it, and you know who I have to give a hat tip to?
Who's that?
Earlier today, I complimented the NFL. Not something I do often, like the actual league office. Now I'm going to compliment David Tepper. What has gotten into me, Dennis?
Yeah, what has gotten into you, man? You're about to compliment David Tepper?
I'm going to compliment David Tepper.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. It's coming. You ready?
Okay. Oh, hold on. Everyone, make sure you're buckled up.
Watching The Blueprint, they had a lot of behind the scenes at the draft.
Mm-hmm.
David Tepper was in the room, in the war room, in the draft room during the draft. I think he was doing what owners should do. He was asking questions. Mm-hmm. He was having things explained to him. But it didn't seem like he was trying to impact the decision. He just wanted to know. That is, I think, the ideal relationship for an owner, right? Because you want him to be invested. You don't want him to, as much as people say they want their owner to just completely check out, right? Call me when I have to go pick up the trophy. You don't want, you want an invested owner that wants to win. You don't want an owner that gets in the way. And Like, Tepper's in the room. Tepper owns the room. Of course he can be in the room. If I owned actually, I won't say, I played football, I probably do think I should be involved in the decision-making process if I owned an NFL team. If I owned a hockey team, right? Big fan, super excited, but I don't pretend to be like I didn't grow up on the ice. You know what I mean? I would hire smart people, GMs, assistant GMs, scouts. You're darn right on draft day I would be in the war room. And you're darn right I would be asking, what do you think you're going to do here? Do you think we need to trade up? Who are you looking for? Who do you like? What do we need? We need a defenseman? What do you think about the kid from Russia? What do you think about the kid from North Dakota? What do you think? Like, I would be absolutely doing that. The thing that you can get in trouble with if you are an owner is when you start to say, you should take the kid from North Dakota because I talked to his dad and he seems like a good kid. Like, it's like, relax.
So, Dan Snyder.
Dan Snyder, and I think at times David Tepper. I mean, there were some reports, some rumors, some rumblings that maybe the coaching staff and maybe some of the front office wanted C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young, but it became a overruling situation. The owner should have the right to overrule. He should never do it. Like, that's how I think the owner should. You own it. Right? The stadium is yours. The team is yours. The billions of dollars you put up to buy it, yours. You should have the right to overrule. You should never do it. That's how I look at it. And David Tepper, for all the meddling and everything that he gets a hard time for, he at least, and by the way, take it with a grain of salt, this was state-owned propaganda, as I like to call it. This was a video put out by the team. So, if David Tepper stood up and started yelling at Dan Morgan, I doubt that would make it to the video. But he was doing what an owner should do. He was doing what an owner should do. Explain it to me. You're the smart people that I pay to know football. Tell me why you're trading up for Xavier Legette. And if it's taking up too much time, you're on the clock, all right, that's fine. Circle back, 20 minutes from now and let me know why. Like, he has the right to know, as long as he doesn't cross the line.
Hey, you know what? If I spent multiple billions of dollars to purchase an NFL team, I have the right to know everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
Just with a little bit of situational awareness, right? Maybe not when you're on the clock.
Yeah.
When the Jets are picking. Right?
Right.
Like when someone else and you're not involved in a trade, all right, now that we have a down moment, why didn't you think Jonathan Brooks would be there at 52? And oh, by the way, Dan Morgan does explain it, right? In the video, he says the Giants had Jonathan Brooks in for a visit, and they were picking between when the pick is now and when we were picking, so we felt we had to jump the Giants. Like, yeah, the owner should know that. The owner just shouldn't say, trade up and get him.
I do love these peel back the curtain thing that we say. It's so cool to see how the process is done. Now, again, like you said, it's team controlled, so they're not going to show everything, which they shouldn't, because how they operate, they got to keep some things in house. But it is really cool when we actually do get to peek behind the curtain a little bit and see, like, oh, okay, so who has some influence? Who was excited about the move? I forget who it was that was sitting behind Dan Morgan when they made the trade up and they drafted him. Like, the running back coach. I assume
it has to be the running backs coach.
So they were steamed up in a good way.
I'm actually surprised. And by the way, the Panthers aren't the only team putting out these videos. I'm surprised teams are revealing so much.
Yeah.
Like, to have what is Brant Tillis' vice president of football?
Executive VP of football operations.
To have your executive VP of football operations literally get a trade offer and go, whoa, the Rams offered us this. That probably doesn't make the Rams feel good, right?
Probably not.
Rams probably aren't like, let's rush back into making an offer to the Panthers again so they can make fun of us. I think it's an interesting decision by all these teams to put out all these videos. But they're all doing it, and I really like it. I enjoy it. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
Dennis, number 3, I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, okay.
I told you what we'd be talking about here pre-show. I didn't tell you that I was going to do this to you.
Oh, okay.
Tkachuk last night.
Matthew Tkachuk, Florida Panthers, yes.
Had an all-time diving save. The Panthers had pulled the goalie, and he dove seemingly from the blue line, slid on his belly, and got his stick on the puck centimeters before it crossed the goal line.
Fully stretched out stick, body just laying across the ice, sliding into the net.
It did not take long to go back to, for the social media world, to go back to Jordan Martinook.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was the final game of the Canes season.
It was game 6.
Puck had gotten behind the goalie, and he did the same, dove out there, saved it, and it was called the save of the playoffs. So those two things, two plays, very similar. Which one was better?
Oh, I'm going Jordan Martinook, of course. I'm not saying that as a homer.
If the jerseys flipped, what would you say?
The one for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that, but here's something as well, is that though Tkachuk did stop the puck from going in,
I know.
Literally like 5 seconds later,
if that.
Edmonton scored. So it's like, oh, okay. It's like you stopped it for a moment, but then, okay, Edmonton actually did score into an empty net. Whereas Jordan Martinook's, that puck was further across the line than what Matthew Tkachuk had yesterday. And he was on a dead heater sprint back and saved a goal that kept the lead for Carolina at the time because it was in the second period of that game against the New York Rangers. But nonetheless, it was both plays were absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that you have one of your top two forwards,
yes,
and Matthew Tkachuk, and for the Florida Panthers, laying out to make that play in a Stanley Cup, it's like, yeah, some guys might not just like, oh, I'm going to skate, I didn't get quite back.
Sell out like that.
Dude,
and by the way,
sold
his teammate, 5 feet behind him to his left, looked like it was a stroll in a Sunday park.
Yeah,
just doop-de-doop-de-doo. Meanwhile, he's going all out like that. That's a conversation for the locker room. That's a loaf on your score sheet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I don't like about that play?
What?
That it was Tkachuk that made it. Because that's a really likable play.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is something that, I don't care if you're on the team I root for or not. If you make that play, I'm going to give you like a.
It's like, all right, props.
That's a solid. Yeah, that's the respect.
Right. Well done.
You don't want to like Tkachuk after last season. You don't want to give props and respect to Tkachuk.
He's so good, though.
Could it be anybody but Tkachuk making that play? And then I'd, give you the hat the hat tip. But that was, what was that, Game 5?
That was Game 5.
That was Game 5. Game 6 coming up.
That's Friday night right here on 99.9 The Fan.
More hockey. We're not done yet.
8 o'clock.
We're not done yet.
It's going to be a great game. I can't wait. I can't wait.
And I'm rooting for the Oilers. Give me Game 7. Inject it into my veins. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Sad news out of the sports world coming, I believe, last night. Willy Mays, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, one of the greatest athletes in general of all time, passed away yesterday. The Say Hey Kid. I realized last night when I was reading all of this, is it because I've known Willy Mays as the Say Hey Kid my entire life. Is it because he would say hey? That's how like entrenched of a nickname that is. I never questioned it.
No.
I'm sure there's some baseball historians out there that could help us out. At Donnelly Sports on Twitter. Why is he the Say Hey Kid? And also, that's a great nickname. Say Hey Kid is awesome. This one's interesting because normally, and I hate that I get to say normally, but you're in this business long enough, you're going to be in front of microphones when people pass away, when things happen. You try to, put it in perspective. You try to maybe tell a story. You try to do something. Willy Mays has existed in my sports fandom like somewhere above the stories. Right? I'm 33 years old. My entire existence, he's been like a overwatcher of baseball, right? He's been a legend that was before my time that you just respected. He's one of the players that just existed as baseball gods over the top of the entire sport. In every argument, you get into the argument, right? Barry Bonds is better. No Griffey is better. No A-Rod is better. And then somebody after the usually an old-timer would say Willy Mays, and you don't know what you're talking about. And you didn't really have a rebuttal because you had seen some footage of Willy Mays, and you had seen the home run totals, and you had seen the over-the-shoulder catch, and you had seen, so you're like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Let's argue. Then you go right back to arguing about like Bonds or Griffey. But you did have to acknowledge that Mays was there. I found it similarly in football. You could be arguing about like Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders, and then somebody would say like Jim Brown, and you just pause and go like, yeah, all right, you're right.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah.
And then you know, I've seen the footage, I've seen the records, and then you go right back to arguing what you're arguing about because they're impenetrable. You can't argue against them. Just the other day, and this is one of those weird things because, I mean, if we're being honest, it's not like Willy Mays popped up into my everyday thought process, right? It's not somebody that I thought about every day or probably even every week. But just like 2 days ago, I think it was, I was watching, I think it was YouTube, and a video popped up of someone showing off their memorabilia. I think it was the guy that runs Golden Auctions, and he has like a personal stash. And he was just showing, and he showed, Hank Aaron jersey, and I was like, oh, that's all right. And by the way, internally, because everything's a competition to me, as he's showing the memorabilia, I'm thinking, what's the one piece I would take, right? So he showed like a Hank Aaron signed jersey, and he showed a Babe Ruth bat, and he showed Mickey Mantle, the first bat he used, and it was actually someone else's bat that he borrowed, and he had all this stuff. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And then he showed a Willy Mays autographed Mets jersey from the first game he played as a Met. And I'm a Mets fan, and I was like, and Willy Mays, how can you have anything cooler than a Willy Mays, like a Willy Mays bat or a Willy Mays hat or a Willy Mays jersey? Like, how can you have anything cooler than that? So at the end of he showed a couple other stuff, whatever, baseball cards. And at the end of the video, I went, all right, it's the Willy Mays jersey. And I just kind of moved on with my thought being like, he's the coolest guy. He's the best guy. He's the player that hangs over everything. And then just, 2 days later to hear that news, or a day and a half later to hear that news, it's just, it's sad, but you also know baseball more so than anywhere else. Legends never die, right? Willy Mays is going to live on in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different record books, and a lot of different histories of a game that he impacted. Clinton Yates, ESPN, on the impact of Willy Mays beyond the sport of baseball.
A lot of people look at Willie as very much numbers, but the man he was, the impact he had on more industries than just baseball is really something that I think is a crucial chapter in American history in terms of so many different things that happened. I mean, let's be real here. The San Francisco Giants do not exist without Willie Mays. It's as simple as that. And the Giants were the highest grossing team on the road for like a decade in the middle of his career because of him. I mean, the guy was an American superstar. We throw that word out all the time these days. Oh, this guy's a superstar, this superstar, that, just because he's got a max contract in the NBA in some random town. No. Willie Mays was a superstar. That's the definition of it. And all these other people were just trying to play for second.
Like everything he says, even if I wanted to argue again, like, somebody says Willie Mays is the definition of a superstar, it's just accepted because that's how big of a shadow he casts on the game. Nobody goes, well, actually, Willie McCovey. No, it's like, yeah, Willie Mays. That's what it is. Support everything that we can pass along, thoughts to everybody in his community, family, friends, the San Francisco Giants community, and everybody else, baseball as a whole. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Eric Tulsky, GM, Carolina Hurricanes, spoke to the media for the first time as the permanent GM of the Carolina Hurricanes earlier today. Dennis, I'll put you on the spot again. What was your main takeaway from Tulsky talking to the media?
I think my main takeaway was he was extremely prepared for the questions that he was going to receive. But I think
which, by the way, tracks with him.
Yes.
Right? He was
extremely prepared.
He is a very, studious, educated, very, I'm not surprised that he could predict the 10 questions he was going to take and had answers already prepared going into it.
I think he generally has a feeling of, I know how my perception is, or what I'm perceived to be because of my background. There's more to me than what you think. There's more than what meets your eye. And I think that's something that was kind of like it was subtle, wasn't like overly aggressive or anything like that, but it's like, yeah, you guys know me as the analytics and numbers guy. You see my degree and background and all that stuff. There's more to me than just that.
Yep, that's exactly, and I said it at the top of the show, it's exactly the same thing I took away from it. It felt like today was, what do they call it? It's in like the I don't know, English colonial times, where it's like you debut a young person as like an adult, and you're like, look at them, they're so much more sophisticated than you.
Like a 16th birthday?
Yeah, something like that, where they walk down in like a tux, right? And they have to like waltz, and their rich parents are like, oh, look at him, he's now a member of society.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's called, like a debut. It felt like this was Eric Tulsky, but like the hockey GM version of that, where it's like, look at him. He's not just numbers, right? He is somebody that is comfortable making the tough decisions, right? Because how many times did he say, this is a complicated offseason. We know everybody can't come back, but we're going to make creative solutions, right? That's him saying, no, I'm going to have to make the decisions that I have to make. We have some audio for you from the Eric Tulsky presser.
We are in the process of talking to agents and working through deals and trying to figure out how things will work. We have a lot of truly outstanding players and people, and we probably aren't going to be able to keep all of them, and that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt us on the ice, and it's going to hurt us in the locker room. At the same time, it does open up opportunity for some of the players we have to step into bigger roles on the ice and in the locker room. And I think we have players who are capable of that. I also think we've shown that we can be creative in finding solutions to keep the team moving forwards, and that'll be part of our job as a management group to find ways to work around the challenges we have.
He did his best to twist his resume into something that translates directly to hockey. And his resume is not one that traditionally would translate directly to hockey. He had run chemistry teams, and he has been involved in super, super complicated science. And I know that's not the technical term, but that's what I call it. And what did he say? He goes, no, well, what are my jobs? Taking in information, making decisions. That's what I can take from my previous experience, 10 plus years ago in those fields. Decision-making was big. He's not just the numbers guy, the quant in the corner who just pipes up and goes, well, actually, the numbers say. He's somebody that can make decisions. That's what today was about for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now he just has to go out there and make the decisions. And, oh, by the way, they better be right. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's a tough world, right? Get a helmet. You'll have access to plenty of them because you're now the GM of an NHL hockey team. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to tell you about everything going on at Capital Financial Advisory Group, and that includes Coach Pete. There's a lot of things in life where you might just nod your way through it, right? Somebody might be explaining the terms and conditions on something, and you're just like, yeah, check the box, let's go. You don't want that to be with your retirement plan. Your retirement plan is your money, first of all. Don't play around with that. But also, it's the quality of life that you can have later in your life. So go to Capital Financial Advisory Group, and as you save money and you want to be sure that it's growing as fast as it can while also being as secure as it can, they can explain it to you in a way that's understanding. Coach Pete has these giant 8-foot whiteboards in his office so you can physically see your financial plan come to life with a process that is designed to remove the complexities and confusion that oftentimes comes with retirement planning. He breaks it down on these giant whiteboards with 3 easy colors, red, yellow, and green. If you're curious to see it for yourself or have it explained to you, Coach Pete is giving away 10 golden tickets to get you some of his best-selling books, plus his box sets that have workbooks and DVDs, as well as a $1,000 consultation process that takes the worry out of retirement planning so you can enjoy peace of mind about your financial future. You'll get all that. All you have to do is make sure you know and tell them where you heard it. But here's the deal. Ask the questions, right? How do I get my money to grow the fastest? How do I keep it as secure as possible? Why is that way better than this way? Someone else told me to do it. They'll break it down. They can show you on the whiteboards. They can tell it to you. It's important for you to understand. This is not something you're just going to nod your way through. Coach Pete will make sure you get all of that if you let him know you heard about it here from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. So go ahead and give him a call, 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Or you can text Tim, T-I-M, to 600-700. That's Tim to 600-700 if you want to text. We need some numbers game contestants. Dennis, you're going to love this prize. Today, the winner gets a $50 gift card to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School.
Nice.
$50. If you want to win the gift card, you got to play the game. If you want to play the game, you got to call in. 919-860-5326. That's the number, 919-860-5326 for the numbers game. Someone's winning a $50 gift card to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Because I feel like we have to bring this up. Caitlin Clark did not receive a special exemption into the U.S. Open by the USGA. That is probably an oversight, and I'm sure many think pieces will be written about it. Tiger Woods did get a special exemption into the U.S. Open, even though he clearly isn't one of the 12 best American players, which, if you ask me, is a double standard.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Laura with the Good Feet store. To my fellow mothers, we can do just about anything, but sometimes don't our bodies disagree? As a working mom of 3, those long days bouncing between the office and the kids would be even more challenging if I was suffering with foot, knee, or back pain. Almost all of my activities involve being on my feet. That's where my Good Feet arch supports come in. From playing hide and seek to walking around the office, life is go, go, go. Moms, we can't afford to let lower body pain slow us down. At the Good Feet store, we offer a 3-step system of arch supports that are personalized to your feet and your lifestyle. They're designed to work in almost any shoe, whether you're dressing for a day in the office or a walk around the neighborhood. Our arch support specialists will walk you through the benefits of each support and how they work together to reduce or even eliminate your foot, knee, and back pain. If you're looking for reliable support for your busy mom lifestyle, visit your local Good Feet store. Stop in for a free fitting and test walk or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Free is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's. Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/19. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hi, I'm Andy Meadows, Chief Editor of Radio Update. What is Radio Update, you ask? It's an online publication specific to radio that shares innovative ideas about how to move our industry forward. Check us out if you're in radio or interested in getting into an industry that's over 100 years old and stronger than ever. Broadcast radio is now the largest mass medium in the United States. If you're like me and you have a passion for radio, or you want to put the power of radio to work for your brand, log on to radioupdate.com.
Hank Bauer, Chairman, ABC Commission. And we're here to talk about Talk It Out NC. Where were we? Where are we?
We're maybe 50% of 8th graders have tried alcohol. That's come way down. I've been in this position for almost 3 years, and it was in the 65-67% range.
8th graders?
8th graders. It's scary. Yes, 8th graders. Parents need to get to them early. And if you go to our website, talkitoutnc.org, it'll help the parents have that discussion, because it is a tough discussion.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards wants to take the fun outside. Start with an endless pool, the original swim spa. Let us show you how to exercise and have swimming pool fun in one package. Turn your outdoor living space into an oasis of fun this summer with our outdoor gaming tables. From pool tables and shuffleboard to table tennis and foosball. Complete your backyard setup with a pellet grill from Memphis or Kamado Joe. Take advantage of closeouts and June incentives. Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh or Market Street in Wilmington. AtlanticSBNC.com.
On average, people spend over a third of their life sleeping, yet most sleep disorders go undiagnosed.
I'm Megan Gigling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sleep struggles left untreated can lead to health problems and have a serious effect on your quality of life. We've served the Triangle for 20 years. Let us help you get the sleep you've been dreaming of.
If you're in need of a sleep study, a knowledgeable doctor, CPAP machine, or supplies, Parkway has you covered. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Dylan and Clayton. We have Rich and Apex on the line, and one of them is going to win a $50 gift card to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. As always, we have to ask a question to see who gets to go first. We pick our favorite answer. Yesterday, we asked this question, and we let Graham pick. Today, we're going to ask this question, and we're going to let Dennis pick. So we'll start with Dylan and Clayton. Dylan, the College Baseball World Series is going on right now. If you had to pick your walk-up song, what song is going to play over the speakers as you go from the dugout to the batter's box to hopefully smash a dinger?
It's got to be Thunderstruck, and we're smashing dingers.
All right. I like the confidence.
All right.
Rich and Apex, we'll go to you next. Same question. What is your walk-up song, College Baseball World Series, before you hit a homer?
You know what? I'm going to go with Welcome to the Jungle. When I was 10 years old and I first started playing Pop Warner football, our coach would bring his truck to the practice field and would blast that, and we went crazy for it.
All right, Dennis, those are the contenders. What do you got?
I mean, those were both really good ones. See, mine is actually AC/DC, If You Want Blood.
Okay.
That's the one I would go with. A lot of people go with Thunderstruck. So the fact that, Dylan went with an AC/DC song, I'll probably have to go with that one.
All right, Dylan, you are the person that gets to go first. Rich, don't worry, you'll still have your chance to be the winner. Dylan, are you there?
Yep.
All right, the categories are that you get to choose from: NFL, Ed, Eddie, and Edwards, all players that are named Ed, Eddie, or have Edwards in their name. NFL June birthdays, so all players born in June, if you're familiar. NBA current players only, or NHL Canes and Whalers only?
NFL June birthdays.
All right. I like it. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Should be good.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Alexander Madison, Minnesota Vikings.
12.
Incorrect. Rashard Mendenhall, Pittsburgh Steelers.
88.
Incorrect. Alexander Madison, Minnesota Vikings.
8.
Incorrect. Rashard Mendenhall, Pittsburgh Steelers.
2.
Incorrect. Alexander Madison, Minnesota Vikings.
2.
Correct. Rashard Mendenhall, Pittsburgh Steelers.
12.
Incorrect. Cooper Kupp, Los Angeles Rams. Alexander Madison was number 2. You got that one right. He also wore 25 for actually most of his career with the Vikings. We would have accepted that as well. Rashard Mendenhall with the Steelers, running back number 34. And Cooper Kupp with the Rams also wore 2 different numbers, 18 and more famously number 10. We would have accepted those. You got one. It's enough to stay in the game. It's enough to stay alive. We'll leave you on hold, and if you sit on the line, we'll see if it holds up.
Thank you. That
brings us to Rich and Apex. Rich, are you there?
I am, man. What's wrong?
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose are NFL Ed, and Eddies, NBA current players only, or NHL Canes and Whalers only.
Let's go Ed, and Eddie.
All right. These are all players with Ed, Eddie, or Edwards in their name. I will give you the name and the team. Give me the jersey number. There will be 30 seconds on the clock, so go as fast as you can. You have one pass if you need it. You need to get 2 to win the whole thing, all right?
Yep.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Gus Edwards, Baltimore Ravens.
25.
Incorrect. Eddie Pinheiro, Carolina Panthers.
88.
Incorrect. Gus Edwards, Baltimore Ravens.
81.
Incorrect. Eddie Pinheiro, Carolina Panthers.
Half.
Eddie George, Tennessee Titans.
Oh, what was the 26?
Incorrect. Eddie Pinheiro, Carolina Panthers.
Half. That's tough.
You were close on Edwards right out the gate. Gus Edwards with the Ravens were number 35. You came with 25, so you were in the right kind of neighborhood. Eddie Pinheiro with the Panthers wears number 4. Eddie George with the Titans, 27. That's one of those weird ones that I would have gotten very quickly because I had an Eddie George jersey growing up. I remember and a Javon Curse also from that same team. Anyway, that's an 0 not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun playing.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Dylan and Clayton, you are the winner. $50 gift card to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You were chosen for your walk-up song, and you got the win. So solid day. You get the gift card as well. Enjoy it.
Appreciate you guys.
Go ahead and sit on the line, and Dennis will get the info he needs from you to make sure you get your prize. But congratulations once again. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is like there's, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 guys that I had jerseys of growing up. I will never forget those numbers. I can still see them. If I close my eyes, I can see my Eddie George jersey I'd wear to elementary school. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to take a break. But first, I need to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook and a night full of big fights and big action coming your way. It's UFC 303, and it can be even bigger if you can believe it. Jump in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. The light heavyweight title is on the line in the main event, but there are so many more amazing matchups happening in Vegas that you can make even more interesting for yourself and your rooting interests. And speaking of amazing and interesting, if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers, bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TIMD, that's TIMD, and new customers that use that code at sign up will get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Get that big fight feel only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at dkng.co/MMA. We'll take a break. When we come back, more Panthers talk, including one player that was very obvious from the behind-the-scenes videos the Panthers are depending upon to be very, very good very, very quickly. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Why are we pretending that Bronny James is an average prospect? He's LeBron James' son, and he is being treated as such.
To not take visits with any team that calls you is unbelievable to me. He doesn't want to play in the NBA based on the perception that we are getting right now. He wants to play with the Los Angeles Lakers and his father. He should ask to not be drafted.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Hey, you love what you love. So save on your faves like a sausage McMuffin with egg or bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for just $2.50.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
If winning is part of your game plan this season, then it's time for a trip to Pure Hockey. We've got the newest inventory in sticks, skates, and more arriving now through year end. So it's time to gear up and unleash your potential. At Pure Hockey, you'll find the biggest selection for on and off the ice. You'll also experience industry-leading personalized skate fittings with the newest in advanced 3D scanning technology. Plus, our rewards program is unbeatable. Head to your Wake Forest Pure Hockey store plus 2 other nearby locations and start earning today. Pure Hockey, your ultimate hockey headquarters.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey, it's Victoria in studio with WakeMed's Dr. Michael Williford for Men's Health Month. He's with WakeMed General Surgery, specializing in minimally invasive hernia repair. What exactly is a hernia?
A hernia just means a hole anywhere. The most noticeable ones are on the abdominal wall, the belly button hernias, the groin hernias. Hernias can occur for many different reasons. We all have an umbilical cord in the womb. We all have a natural defect there at the belly button. Over time, that can grow and become larger. Similarly, in our groin, during development, our testicles descend there. We have a natural hole in the groin as well, and we can develop a bulge there as well. And we think up to 10% of men will develop some sort of hernia in their lifetime, and generally hernias get larger over time. There are a few things that can make them get larger. Anything that increases pressure on the inside of the abdomen, weight gain, straining for constipation, men that do repetitive heavy lifting at work, an incision can make your tissues weaker.
Learn more about WakeMed General Surgery at wakemed.org.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I have to get one final point across from my reactions from the behind-the-scenes YouTube series that the Panthers have put out. It's called The Blueprint, and this episode, the second episode that came out last night, which you should all go check out. By the way, if you do check it out, you'll probably hear some familiar voices because they take quite a bit of their scene setting audio where they just need to be like, oh, this is what the media is talking about from this show and from Panthers Playbook, which is also that's Dennis Cox and Chris Lee, another one of our productions from here at 99.9 The Fan. So you'll hear me and Dennis in it a bunch. But the one more thing I want to add after listening to it is they are not afraid to put a ton of pressure on Jadeveon Clowney. It actually was kind of like an abrupt halt. Like if I were a filmmaker or, I maybe took a filmmaking class or two in college, if I were judging the episode, I would say there was a change of tone about halfway through where they went from everybody collaborating, everybody, this guy's great, that guy's great, to suddenly there was like they pulled the ripcord and it was, we desperately need a defensive end. We have Ashawn Robinson, and then 50 feet of crap, and then everyone else we have at defensive end. We need a guy that can win one-on-ones. You have Ejiro Evero, their defensive coordinator, giving like a monologue about we need somebody that's going to win their one-on-ones more often than they're not. We need a prototypical edge rusher. We need that guy. And it's like, where did everyone turn into Mel Gibson from Braveheart? Like, what is going on? And why are you making it so obvious that you desperately need an edge rusher? And, you know, they even hype up Ashawn Robinson for a little bit, make him look like Debo from the movie Friday. He's like bullying offensive linemen.
He looks scary, I'm not going to lie.
He's a big dude.
Dude looks scary. Call it what it is.
And they would say, like, Ashawn's great. Derek Brown is great. Shai Tuttle is great. You're not going to be able to run the ball on this team at all with those guys, but we need a pass rusher. And it just like, if you say you need a pass rusher 97 times, you're going to make us feel like you really, really desperately need a pass rusher.
Say his name and he shall appear.
And then they cut to Jadeveon Clowney, and he's got the family, and he's putting them in the car, and he's driving in to sign the contract, and he's talking about being home, and it's as if they're like, just the tone of it all was like they almost should have had a choir going like, oh, as he walked into the building, because he was going to solve all their problems, right? The entire first half of the show was, we love our running back. We just drafted the greatest running back. We love our quarterback. We're building around our quarterback. We love our wide receiver. We love our defensive line. We love Dan Morgan. We love Dave Canales. We love everybody. We hate our number 2 edge rusher position behind Ashawn Robinson. And then they signed Jadeveon Clowney. And Jadeveon Clowney walks in, and he's upbeat, right? And he's talking about how great things are. And he's talking about how he's so excited to be home. And he gets to play in front of his hometown. But he feels a little bit of pressure because he doesn't want to play bad in front of his hometown. And I'm going, well, if you don't like pressure, they're really doing you up here. It's you know, I'm a stand-up comedy nerd, right? Really enjoy it when my wife and I can escape away to New York City for a little bit. We're comedy cellar. Like, we very much like stand-up comedy. There's a great discussion that I've seen. It's actually with Jerry Seinfeld, probably from like 20 years ago. And somebody asked him, how do you want to be introduced, right? Like, when Jerry Seinfeld is coming to the stage, like, oh, how do you want me to introduce you? Do you want me to say the creator and star of Seinfeld? Do you want me to say, 100 and whatever appearances on the Tonight Show? Like, how do you want? What do you want me to say? And he goes, I want you to say this, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Seinfeld. And he's like, because the more and more you hype me up, the harder and harder it is for me to kill. All right, the harder and harder it is for me to make everybody laugh because they're expecting the most. Like, if you walked up there and said, he's almost a billionaire. He had the number 1 show in America 7 years running. He's sold out stadiums and concert venues for the last 3 decades.
Won these awards, blah, blah, blah.
What is it? The
last comic
Mark
standing.
Twain Comic Award, whatever. Jerry Seinfeld. Then people are going to go like, this better be good. Like, they're only going to laugh at the funniest jokes you've ever heard. So he's like, no, just go, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Seinfeld, and let me get into my first joke before they even notice that I'm famous. They did the exact opposite of Jadeveon Clowney. They're going, Jadeveon Clowney, former number 1 pick, the first number 1 overall recruit from the state of South Carolina, the man coming in to solve all the problems up front for the Carolina Panthers. He is 6'7". He is an unbelievable athlete. He used to play offense. Look at this video of him taking a guy from Michigan's head off when he was playing for South Carolina. Here's Jadeveon Clowney. The blueprint made it like he's going to have 13 sacks. He's going to have to get to the quarterback 13 times and get him on the ground for this season to even come across as half worthy of the intro. And guess what? His career high is 9.5.
Yeah.
You are painting a very, very, very impressive prediction for Jadeveon Clowney. And I'm not sure anyone was lying, right? I'm not saying they weren't being honest. I do think he needs to be that. That defense needs the one edge rusher that attracts attention in the pass game. A'Shawn Robinson, I mean, Dennis mentioned it, scary dude.
Yeah, very scary.
Very large individual. He is more of a traditional run-stopping, like he's an anchor and you're not going to move me style edge. He's going to set the edge. Probably not looking at a double-digit sack guy. So you need the opposite complementary piece to that, and that has to be Jadeveon Clowney because there's nowhere else it can come from on that roster. DJ Johnson, Amari Barno, maybe a DJ Wanham, maybe.
If he's healthy.
There's exactly. There's really not many other options if Jadeveon Clowney doesn't work out, and that's scary. But there was like a 5-minute section of the blueprint that was just, we desperately need this. Followed up immediately by, Jadeveon Clowney will be all of that and more, which is just such the high expectation setting situation for a very talented player, but one that hasn't always lived up to the overwhelming hype that's followed him since high school. But yes, it will be very difficult to run on the rest of the defensive line. Derek Brown, Shai Tuttle, and A'Shawn Robinson. There won't be many, run stuffs that Jadeveon Clowney is going to have to make. The other three will be like, we got the run game. You get after the quarterback. And if that ends up being their little, working together relationship, that's fine.
We also saw the feature of Josie Jewell, the inside linebacker that they signed. Yeah, the Outlaw, yes, I was thinking, that's a great nickname. The Outlaw?
And he's got the little finger gun celebration.
Yeah.
He's somebody like him and Shaq Thompson are going to have to kind of patrol that off-ball linebacker. Josie Jewell, from a fans' perspective, replacing Luvu is going to be tough. Luvu was a loved guy, and he may have to do some of that. So tough situation for him as far as that. But looks like a good player. I mean, they seemed excited by him. So I'll withhold my judgment.
But you know what? With guys like Robinson and Derek Brown and all those guys up front, just eating up blockers.
Linebacker's job becomes a little bit easier. Exactly
a lot easier.
Right.
No one's blocking me. I can just run to the ball and make tackles. Okay, deal. Sign me up.
That's a good point because Derek Brown's not, you're not double teaming Derek Brown and then escaping one of them to get to the second level. You're both going to have to focus on Derek Brown, which is going to make life a lot easier for the off-ball linebackers and hybrids and everything else. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Once again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. It's super easy to find. Just search for our station, 99.9 The Fan, or The Drive with Tim Donnelly or a bunch of others, and it'll get you generically there, and you can find your way. But we would greatly appreciate you to join that online community with us. We are doing our best to put out a whole bunch of content there for you every single day, literally every single day. With that being said, Overdrive is coming up next, where you get our initial reactions to Eric Tulsky's intro presser from this morning. That'll replay for you to start Overdrive. Until tomorrow at 3, when we're back for more of The Drive, we'll see you. Have a great night, everybody.
We're jamming your June with championships. The NBA Finals.
It's an 18th title for the Celtics, the 2024 NBA champions.
The Stanley Cup Finals.
McDavid the other way, scores! And this one can't end soon enough for the Florida Panthers.
The U.S. Open.
And strokes the putt up the hill, into the middle. 2 times a U.S. Open champion, Bryce and DeChambeau.
Catch every winning moment with us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, y'all. Happy summer from Oak City Customs. We have a lot of cool things happening, including new offerings on custom sun sails, pergolas, outdoor tables and furnishings, raised garden beds, and so much more. All fully customizable and available in any size. We also are now hosting official shop tours for you to experience this unique fabrication process in person. Come visit us or check us out further at oakcitycustoms.com. We look forward to meeting you.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a go-see. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
Truist. When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. So start feeling like it today. Visit Truist.